Nothing, I saw for a young Baumia Beshia. I dear Bakua, a map de Bia, Mabembu, Yura Baumia, and Nintimibuso Cancer NPP mistake. Now, Papa, it mean woman in a campus with the Ghanaian. What were Chris of what soft one no is a Macion recently?
Yeah, Macion.
Yeah, you be 400 Ghana. What for? Why do you have to pollute Ghanaians with the money? In politics, why?
As of a coin, Yamobia 400 Ghana cities.
Make come to come.
Baba Ugobi, I need him.
But Nancy Hawk, Adia, one mediatry. Adia, any day, Adia, ancient Yamian, Adia, any Namraso. I will never support it in my life.
Baba, I say, any day, said, what to care free Fiena, just of Penina, where we are not judge of Tifu Kakra, Baba Canadian will go back and Kenya Boniana.
Boni Casiepa, and Nona, Edi Pridu, man, you Samudia do baby, a year delegates, Jessica, Ghana, Sika free Futuoma, Yamu Wonkonta, a quining footno, a kumlipa, she acquire the bar, a baby by what then in Saka, the brain, what make you attempt, but then you know your incomplete rules. Sikano Wahinifa, Sikano and Wahi, what you son them, now preachy etia delegates, a wakwa Jessica, now will suffer Bokona. Bad, but we need to a sabi and woman, and the appointment now, for the 400, who bought my car. I think I'm already getting sick and cancel about me. I said, this is not what we need. Now, 400 would be and best 1 week, that's what I'm saying. I think money when you're glad to play. And
the NDC was in government for 8 years. They may think that we have short memories, but we can still remember very clearly that after 8 years that they had in office, in government, to demonstrate their prowess in managing this country and managing the economy, after 8 years, what did they leave us with? They left us with declining agriculture, declining industry, interest rates were high, inflation was high. In fact, if you look at the data in terms of macroeconomic performance in any economy, since the year 2000, the tenure of the former president was the worst in terms of outcomes in macroeconomic performance. That's the data, it's not me saying it. The banking system was weak. Unemployment was rising. Our national health insurance was back to cash and carry. We had 4 years of doomsday with its devastating impact on our economy. And not even withstanding that, electricity prices were being increased by an average of 45% between 2010 and 2015. Our public finances were in a precarious state, of course, that resulted in us having to go to the IMF for a bailout and policy credibility. Taxes were being increased. There was a freeze on public sector recruitment, cuts in allowances for teachers and lecturers, cuts in allowances for lecturers, abolition of teacher training allowances, abolition of nursing training allowances, and even for teachers who had worked for 2-3 years, they were being paid just 3 months of allowances. I mean, common chalk was even a problem in our schools. And this is really the history that the NDC would want us to forget, and which we should not forget. Our memories should not be that short. We should remember what they did. And Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo took over the reins of government in 2017. After just over 3 years in office, he's been able to manage the transformation of this country, and we have been able to perform much, much better than the situation we inherited. In fact, the data is very clear. And so my humble advice to former President Mahama is to take a look at the data. This is not Green Book data. This is just the data, right? Take a look at the data before you speak. Otherwise, you will end up embarrassing yourself.
When it comes to GDP growth, we have performed better than we inherited. Agricultural growth, we have performed better. Industrial growth, we have performed better. Inflation, we have performed better. Interest rates, we have performed better. Exchange rate depreciation, we have performed better. The fiscal balance, the fiscal deficit, we have performed better. The trade balance, we have performed better. Current account balance, we have performed better. Gross international reserves, we have performed better. Jobs, we have performed better. Teacher training allowances, nursing training allowances, passport application, driver's license, renewal of NHIS, registering a business, cost of electricity, taxes, efficiency of clearing goods at the ports, the right to information bill, the Zongo Development Fund, national ID cards, mobile payment interoperability, digital address system, one district, one factory, one village, one dam, one constituency, one ambulance, free SHS.
We want to make sure that we focus on education in the Zongo communities. So we are building in each of the 16 regions. We are building model senior high schools in Zongo communities in the 16 regions. So we have 16 model senior high schools in the 16 regions of Ghana in the Zongo communities. Of course, one of the areas that has not received enough attention is in the area of special needs education. And we are going to focus on special needs. A lot of our children who are suffering from autism or cerebral palsy and
next month, ladies and gentlemen, we are digitizing the school feeding program. And next month, I will launch, we looked at it last week, it's all set. Next month, we will launch a digitized school feeding program. We will know every school in the country, every day, if you feed them rice and beans, we will know. How many students you have fed, we will know. There will be no room for kululu in the school feeding program after we launch this program next month. We are doing so much for the first time, and we need to understand that we are changing this country. We are transforming this country. Let nobody tell us that we cannot do it.
And if you look at this story, the NDC increased per capita income by only 215% or 17%. But under the tenure of John Mahama, per capita income actually declined by 12%. And this is it. It declined by 12%. Mr. Chairman, this is essentially the difference between competent economic management and incompetent economic management. It also tells us fundamentally that Ghana's problem is not about resources. Our problem is the efficient and honest management of the resources.
This is why we got into the IMF. You were spending too much relative to revenues, which is true. You were borrowing too much, which is true. Your external payments position has deteriorated, which is true. And so you ended up
your growth is reducing, which is true. So you ended up at the IMF, and the IMF would impose certain conditions, which is true. And if you don't do certain things right, the anchor will not hold, which is true. So I'm not quite sure what it is that is not true that I said. But I think, unfortunately, the supporters of this government and this government itself are very reluctant to admit the truth, even when it hits them in the face.
Given the resources at its disposal, one should expect at least 4 to 5 times the quantum of investment that the NDC claims to have undertaken. The close to 33 billion of borrowing that has not been used for infrastructure expenditure could have done so much in this country. If you take $33 billion and ask yourself, what could you have done with $33 billion? You could have solved the water crisis in Ghana. You could have solved our energy problems. Every region in Ghana would have had 1,000 kilometers of asphalt road. We could have transformed agriculture. We could have put in place a world-class hospital in every region. We could have bought 1,000 ambulances for the Ghana Ambulance Service. We could have equipped our existing health and education institutions. And we could have built an additional 600 senior high schools that the government is trying to build currently. And we could have constructed the Accra-Kumasi-Paga railway line as well as the Western Railway line. And with all this, we would have still been left with some money.
We have today 16 million Ghanaians with unique identities. And that is a major transformation. A lot of people sometimes don't even appreciate what the impact of the Ghana card is. But if you gave me 1,000 interchanges and a Ghana card, I'll choose the Ghana card because it has more impact on development.
All right. Okay. Good evening and welcome to With All Due Respect Extended Version. My name is Kevin Akobedu. Like it's exactly 4:28 p.m. U.S. East Coast time. It's definitely 8:28 in Ghana. Thank you very much for tuning in. We are streaming live from our studios here in Washington, D.C. My producers are called Jagos Team. Tonight, we will be dealing with the court issue, the ambulance scandal, and that's what we'll be doing tonight. We'll also be talking about a few things that are very important that we believe Ghanaians are supposed to know. So tonight's show is going to be a very packed one. If you're here with me tonight, I'd like to thank you very much for tuning in. We are live on TV, on Loud Silence TV this evening, on Multi TV this evening. We're also live on Loud Silence TV on Facebook, Loud Silence TV on YouTube, Loud Silence TV on radio, and also on cross-posted on our affiliates channels. Thank you very much. I'll be right back after this short break. I will be right back.
It don't make sense. Everybody want trend, but please don't misuse it. You forget conscience. Ignorance. Plenty people don't die already. On the lights. Many things they hide in darkness. Ignorance. Plenty people don't die already. On the lights. Many things they hide in darkness. So until the light goes out, we go still they do everything we only do. Until the candle goes out, we go still they do everything we only do. Nowadays I don't feel sad, I just get out, put my phone offline. I'm offline. They won't quench my fire, they won't see me suffer. Enemies go tire. baby, I'm meant to lie. On him, I come over. Will you be my lover? Make up be your cover. Dance to Mama Cosa. Until the lights goes out, we go studio, do everything we fully do. Until the candle goes out, we go studio, do everything we fully do. Nowadays I don't feel sad, I just care. Put my phone offline, I'm offline.
Plenty talk on the full basket. Shay, you know, say I put in work. So the please check on your real man them. Many things where they do man them.
If you get money, they say to you before my dreams go come true. And then I'm young coming my woo. Enough for baby woo. Until the light goes out, we go studio, do everything we fully do. Until the candle goes out, we go studio, do everything we fully do. Nowadays I don't feel sad, I just care. Put my phone offline, I'm offline.
Hey, make ramen in person. Mama could the be at them time. Come on, we poking cancer. Manzo forget them.
Plenty people don't die already. I pray to God to complete the journey. Nah, I know so yeah, what's them.
Authentic mix.
All right, thank you very much for staying. You're still watching With Audio Respect Extended Version. All right, we'll work with this. So again, I meant yeah, and then you bring Ghana, you know, ID, Salano, you dear, you see a Salano, Yarina, you see a Yina Yabe Pet, Ubi, and Chen will be Yina be the same. Inti, Diana, your friend one amonfa, your friend one, oh, Chale, meet no day, say Siano, meet no day, see a Bibia and the Inti, at this point in the day, Yina be bako, Yina be the same, Ubi and Chen will be Inti, Yina move a diamae, I. Yenye mu be dia mai because Andrew and near from amomfa it is here and the adwene say yeso se no yeso be fa ye ho adwene enche bia bronya beba ai your friend we texting boy and test yen ka de be say come so meet no day sa asmasa ya wie e di holiday na wie ya sa about factory settings enche bia bronya beba enche bia akabe bosom nsia na bronya ba na ma be keso be ka say ai Kevin, so how far na hono bones ye ne ye fon chemo nti enche bronya beba because ye stadium wendra ye from biara mbofu Tahiru say me texting some straight answers yes so boga what but you see I see the bronya ne wie Tahiru mikro me namu fo am MPP fo nyina nkrebu fo ye die wie Mr article say to me text na I so be text one text I oh boss I'm fine just a first no go to me text oh mashallah oh how are you my brother everything is fine God has been they say I got out text that time I never be chiriano oh article alpha also good and one know the whole day on my response be up count if you guys oh article is everything all right fine hey and nam kekenti obro fu nyina aka 11 I article so Mr article how are you is the family doing for also good hey Mr article so say on kasa sa ai ya na fu pepe for no mun pepe for the incremofo say nyantafo nyina no incremofo ai nti mun tafo incremofo no me nko na mtum kan tafo Ghana okay bebo ai say me tafo mu feel me and incremofo feel pepe for so so feel me ai nti mun pepe for no Ipepe Mario Namnewi. Okay. You see, I yaba. Yes, I be hustle. Come December. You see, I know. Walai be no. Mario na obi anka walai. Mario na obi anka say bawasaba. Moye din na Mario na obi anye din no onye come de wa din. Motwa enam kakra ka mu fridge mu no. Mo maintain ne kakra because you see bibia be free baby ama wo. Bibia bi fufuro bi ama. Enti de Mario no. Monya ne kakra. Say na be kada nagode baba na found cross be 2 months bi. Na ba wini na nsen awie de onko awose. Obebre rough. Ai. Enti de me maka. Upe maka chire pepe for. Good evening to the chief imam. Your son Kevin Taylor, I am here, and all your children, they also love me, and I love them so much. So good evening to the Chief Imam of Ghana. Good evening to all the noble men in Ghana, especially our Muslim brothers and sisters. Yesterday was a wonderful day because you guys celebrated this how do we call it? I don't know the name, but you actually celebrated very peacefully, and we are very grateful. Those who did not give us meat, we are also saying God bless you. Na the damonim yakume mu nyame nhyira but the way etrim de damonim mo ama ya nam ni bi no yakume mu de nyame nhyira mo na wicked no ha wicked no de to wicked na twene mo ama ya nam no ye beka no nipa maga so nyame nhyira mu nyina Eid Ada happy Eid Ada mo ama ya nam no mo de yakume mu no onyankopɔ enim no nyame enhyira mo de mo obi anka bema ye muni bi ntina mama ye mo so na mo na ma munim so mama ye bi na mama ye no ye wicked no e sha wicked no ye nka no ya no ba ye wicked ne sha 6 months beba 6 months ye nche bronya beba na nsia ye beku Yesu na nsia ai ye de be nkwan na nsia ne ahwe de ba be ye oh Kevin say well you are brother me I'm your brother sa haji for no just say ye hu obi ye hu obi ate light by tia. All right, so ade na ekoso amenti ya amanfo bi ekeka ye hu de ekọ what is happening in Ghana today. Mamu Renfi nipa bebre ehwe ye na Ghana so na ye beka ho asem show we show bia show a undi 18 years and over menhwe you need to be 18 years and over and sane. Obo ha we di 18 years and over so we Jimmy e de se kokwa anyido we di 18 abro so we Jimmy ha we kuni ba onye papa ye busan se on fan about top simbra untimi famba inti this show no should be 18 years and over Sibio with all due respect no wadwene so emuda ho show we in some na use no ano edin show we obi a ose atenie yedi natam obi a ose ye prison no inti show we no obehwa also gitum said so obehwe eye pono a it is a gospel it is a Christopher pono it is a gospel pono enu no say no wa untumi nya hwe na wo so awohwa na wo ye bone sa na tie inti we a political size movie in sem na wo ha na soso inti mesra wakoma entumi endi sansem we kira mesra menhwe political pon have na start no minim sem hwe sie NPP for chairman for nyina frefro amako na wo ye den akwara bawo yesi de bed den na wo hwe bia na da bi o afena menam kwan so meja batu storm no kura me kofi entam NPP chairman for mo gare nyina hwe omu say hana formation wo yesi a secretary for ne frefro mo frempom na owen also me kura ma dwudwu mu hada ho ka me da kakra oboa we lower the kakrevi because treasurer ne frɛ no NPP treasurer frɛ NPP secretary be say NPP treasurer be wo so ɔhwɛ me into we lower no me fifie ba me fi kroma as ma bre kwabre chairman ɔhwɛ me kwabre for chairman ɔhwɛ me ɔmo friend pe kiki ɔsi hey boat na dey ɔsi when dem me fi adwuma isi na me ba wa unse nyoma mo abdan me da akwa na ma chia me wada kakra ɔsi boat hwe obeso check say chairman so hwe na isi awo ye dey ɔsi mai obai wa ha wona me so mpe bibi nsi eyi so ma me na me da ha ɔsi metina wo ye TV ana so abontina so TV kwa bo de sisumpo de me hwe mpo de mpo de wo so oboa chairman they are too hot. Loud silence TV. We lower no. We lower the D. Odinka ya fast. Odinka I fast. I end the corner. And me them TV nimpo them nimpo here. And crying for them da kotui. Hana beda. Ubo sa ne baba akwa da. Kevin Taylor bo. They Kevin. Chairman no the boy that waiting 5 years so ni me the body feel me because the body nim some maame pe masem say omo ni some maame sanka me wo Ghana anka o de be maame ba I say mini Ghana nti omo maame feel me nti aya na de bia no me ba no omo the channel akoto oh Kevin nti papa ni didn't draw phone so akire the regional chairman untimi afre no kwabre chairman say me da o wana keto me da Kevin abo volume ni antima say anti volume no Osia na akra no se de ho osia say mom Kevin Taylor no me na mtie me TV pese me shege bia. All right, hello to omo hwe benyumbre bia chairman hwe obi hwe ekufu ado kra hwe wa hwa na no so zuo ekufu otu hwe me na Rebe, mama yi kakra, wi kakra nso. Ekufu de tumi hwe ko Jubilee House ko hwe. Girls yi se me de do mo stress so. Obekọ NPP office omo ye meeting. Omo nyina iPad no phone e do mo stress so. Make Kevin me de da ma stress so no mo hwe me. Omo to ma ye say. Me ne kum kakra oboa Kevin dan stress so. Anaju ko jubilee correct. Omo nyina edin to what said omo nya hwe. Kevin tell dom sere so. Phone ni nyina da with all due respect and the dom sere so no mo hwe. Wo kono my saying. No asere kakra. No ahwe ba akure no say arantie. Omo nyina intimate wa say ahwe bi say me dam ba sere so. Kwansima umpo me dan kofo sere so. Ai. E say ko hwe obi a chairman bi yire ai. And I make a boko set pa and dampim and I found the chest so then nufu so no hwe. Ai me dan kofo nufu so. Jimmy weja. Osi so onye mo bada Jimmy una mo so ye bema. Otu fi so pro. All right, let's do the show. All right, let's go for. Akwa we pa hey, kwasma text me ni abre ne ube. Me boy ma charge also. E dey asem. Osi dey. Kwasma sa daso why? Na nyame hwa. Me daso. All right. So who is watching me right now? It's exactly 4:41 p.m. US East Coast, 8:41 in Ghana. Raphael Akume is watching me this evening. Thank you very much, Raphael. Tomorrow, today, and so free Michael Kweku watching me this evening. Kwashi Kudeka is live on Loud Silence TV. Donali is also live watching me this evening. I can see Rebecca Zifa Baku watching me this evening. Nenena is live on Loud Silence TV this evening. John Kweku Sabi is watching me. Also, Thelma Edi Korte live on Loud Silence TV this evening. Tony Baidu, maybe he's forgotten of the stolen oil. Okay, that was his message. Paulette Ankra is watching. James is live here. Yemba Buena also live on Loud Silence TV this evening. Loa Love watching me tonight. Enyumbre yabeka Ghana honsam na ode mo men kwaso me die kira me ka se bi ni se me kan nti me pese me ka bibia bi di kwans me kira obeka se bi ni so kan nti calculation kitwe bi ha ye be ansa na yakwanim, but we need to kill some jandam quickly. Me catch them say NPP ni message, and I've said this over and over and over. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia message any day, and we keep asking Bawumia message no any day. Bawumia dey no so be ama Ghana for. Bawumia say a day idea for front or a day pan or so or say or the 33 policies about a day policy be na aboa tomatoes buako form. These are simple questions we need to be asking. Policies as saying a day any policy. Bawumia ba Ghana a politics and a MP before we Jimmy Omonkin kind of they don't understand. Me say 33 policies about me or introduce you know etumi ama engo boaba form ontumi and the policy the policy a mental slavery say o policy entumi ama tomatoes bu anko for na enya policy say bio junky ideas and awo say o policy no entumi ama den entumi ama petro ama for na enya policy a junky idea. Me say so we say o policy 33 no ni nyina at the end of today ayetie and Ghana for omuko dwaso no omuko to aduane board den dia enya policy a junky idea. Send we say o the policy 33 aba na sa 33 policies no entumi si one regional hospital na a junky idea. Me say send so also the policies aba na and the cocoa Ghana cocoa ekuafo entumi nya fertilizer free na and yeko Ivory Coast and ye cocoa e komomo and MPP for area cocoa aba na yetia na ye import cocoa free aba efra bruchi say ye medua na ye junky idea enye policy. Send so also the policies aba na inflation at this point is over 23 na a junky idea enye policy. See Tigana ha na say and the interest rate is over 30%. Na say also the policy aba e dey de tumi chisan entuma sesahwe a junky idea enye policy. Tigana krom ha and as we live in this nation yetia national health insurance scheme enye djuma amanfo ko hospital mu nyedru also the policy aba e dey na policy de be no enye policy a junky idea. Policy out there ba and the oko corruption perception index mo a aban bi aba so mo na ketahye agi intini e o ma ban mu into policy no e be fight corruption into man fight corruption a junky idea. So the 33 policies now also they are all junky ideas. They did not change the lives of Ghanaians positively. You could not build roads, you could not build schools, you could not build health facilities, you could not change the economy of this nation. So the 33 policies about now $3.8 and the dollar $60 a junky idea and your policies you are being foolish. So also all the new policies about Ghana na obano na unemployment rate baby da not today it has skyrocketed. It means it wasn't a policy, it was a junky idea. Moya moa. Ma simplify my campaign na mamo. Mrs. Okay. I've simplified your foolish campaign for you. Mrs. Take care of some people here on YouTube and all that. You guys take care of them. Don't delete, don't block anybody. Mute them. Mute. Sebio kwabre fo amunti mute ase. Yese ye ka kasabo ahye. Ye mute no ai. Ne brofo no mon kankan kakra. Ye ka se ye ka kasabo ahye. Cha se ye mute. Intimisi mitim no mema mo entia obi an ye obi an frim. Omonka amanfo kasabo a enhye. Enti policy a entimi atesa wabrabo. The policies about na send there ehia wo chen first na a junky idea enyo policy. Send ba omi so the policy 33 aba now that want Ghana ha na untumi tua lighter o kania a junky idea. Me say and ba omi any NPP say 8 years the policy aba na say and there eti ekwan papa ba akumpo muntumi nye a junky idea enyo policy. Say and there oti ha na say obi catch or say NPP for the policy aba. NPP for the policy aba na policy no entumi answer sanwa brabo uye koko kueni uye kueni a Ghana sebio uye teacher ni uye nurse ni uye doctor uye abayadwumani na wakotua entumi nkosro oho kira na ekire petrukun na enye policy a junky idea enti so obi bagina wonim se baomia the policy bia ba musa ne se policy no edian na boa mabrabo policy no dian na sesa mebra baomia ka se obema constituency bia $1 million per constituency bia ebesi ne obianya kobo a junky a statement. The guy is full of junk. He's full of junk. And I could feel why you catch them no. Or say Baumia, he has studied you people and he sees you people say majority are foolish, so he keeps giving to you.
Ladislas Klawiki, you know him?
No.
What's his name? Baumia. I call him Ladislas Klawiki.
Why?
Because he talks so much crap. You know. Yeah. What he said.
That's the vice president.
So what? He's a human being, ain't he?
They say you disagree with him, but this talking crap is a bit harsh.
See, that's why we're backward.
No,
we don't want to talk straight. We lie.
Talk straight.
They tell me, so I destroy the whole thing. Tell them straight. Hey, Baumia, what you're saying is crap. Period.
What has he said with his crap?
Everything he says. I enjoy him, though. I like him as a person because he knows the people are stupid, so he just give it to them all the time, you know? And I like him. He gives it to them, you know? He said he's going to do this. Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't tell him he's going to shave Jesus Christ's beard.
But you might think, say, Asaba Kofi you can say, Baumia who Ghana for so much Jimmy or stupid, no. It's funny. It's not. He might be laughing. Time and our but he was speaking from a perspective as somebody on your Korea was study Ghana politics, no, and I was study politicians over the time. When we say Baumia who Ghana for said they are stupid, so he keeps giving them foolishness. And Kofi Wayo was basically telling you people, because without due respect, so Obi was different perspective. So Obi to kwan kakra na so onye Jimmy for na so beso Obi na adwemu a, or try to get different perspective, or try to open their horizon adwemu. Into Debiano Ottawa, I know Busan whole questions. And Kofi Wayo has tasted Ghana politics and he has tasted the American politics or the other part of politics, Ebia in Krubia or Europe. And was studied by Omiyo who said Ghana for Jimmy. Into Brofano can also hear Kwesi Pratt, me catch about Omia, the Oyano, Onim said Ghana for Jimmy. The more or the Jimmy video or not omoniji internet or loadu omo into the beer or download the me near or upload near see download Jimmy no into Kofi Wayo Marokano. It is not that Kofi Wayo does not know what he's saying. Kofi Wayo knows exactly what he's saying. He's making you understand, say, this is what Baumia is doing because the people are foolish. And which people are the foolish ones? Let me put a simple question. The people who are foolish, at the end of the day, they be a sorry. Yes, and the Ubusa Ghana for say when a tuma Baomiani Kufu do be because you the tomorrow. And the Obia and to my MPP. And the Ubusa Ghana Nibia will be shared be as to my MPP, because I be man to my MPP. And so your conform nam Ghana to my MPP be and problem no. obia cause problem ni bi ye ni nipa mo betuma NPP obia se wanto am Ekufuado obia se wanto am Bawumia enti ende ye nam Ghana ho na akwa we or upload Jimmy and a Ghana for the so download Jimmy no into Beginawa. We have done better. No upload it. Oh, we have done better. Social security, we have done better. Into as some now say Otnama Katias Yankon and or upload Jimmy and yes, we download it. You download Jimmy no into Bawumia de be upload it be Bawumia opportunity be no upload Jimmy egu system nim na Jimmy for no mo emu no more download it into to be koti obi to say yes miracles aboaje not TV so or say oh UGMs no Ekufuado de see Bawumia upload it and wa download it into Jimmy no cost no download about form into at this point no majority of these people deliberately they are foolish na I hear me say go to Ghana for how NPP how they think as some juni ko echire. We as a nation, we consume foolishness too much. Every day, you consume Jimmy to say vitamins. Bawumia upload ni consume ni download it. And tell me, Buzam say Bawumia ko Ghana hanging Asia. What is so kangalam say wasam? No. When him say galam say koso, people with short memories. Sankaya jini any for man ka Jimmy ni say goku anyu do and kende Ghana obi beti goku anyu do. We have short memories. We are foolish. And anytime guys at school nankasa no formal education no. I think it's too good in my head. Your course cook a Caribbean near Jimmy. You're very short memory. Like you just say in confirm, yeah, you're not smart. You Jimmy. Because I did boy to miss near Refi and nobody's talking about Galamsey in Ghana. I say there's no single river in Ghana clean and the Ekufuado and Bawumia. And these people, I am telling you, they are not going to solve this problem. And they are him for Bawumia be jina omunyine nim obi ani wotumi busa Bawumia say na yensuo na say ne ahim for etete Bawumia nim to say school nkwara. And ye gada omo and ye mo musika. And they ahim for na dani business. And omo de Ghana for a business. And the insame here no Bawumia nanti Ghana ha nyina ohini bia ntumi mbusa Bawumia say Mr. President oba na dollar near 3.8 and the 16 adan dia na ekosi ohini bia ntumi mbusa sofu bia bako pe young man be the busa sa question about Bawumia to papa so majority of the people about Bawumia so share omu nyina wo Ghana they could not ask one sensible question. I'm telling you, and which are the sensible questions? And then the ebusa no questions and answer woman and then they are not asking sensible question. The all questions the omo ya say Bawumia ba yambom pa yama no na wo sofo a wote Ghana and the auto petro the auto no so wo tire won sabom abom pa yama Bawumia no nyansa be na wo utrim busa nipa no because wa sorry for na odi omochi enim no omutua to eto no de na de aye mama sa jimi we ananti Ghana ha nyina 16 regions obi ambusa ne say yensuo no your water bodies no insuo na ye benom na asai no chema wuntumi na odi wochi na what say Ghana nsuo nyina no what are you doing about it? Nobody cares. Na ono na mukaje say yema ahemfutumi a ombetumi asem nkofo wo de ahemfie kwase asem yema ahemfutumi na woni asase to so oyo ohene na woni asase to so a tumi no kofa no. If you are a chief and you don't have better land, etumi so eduaba yetumi efu so eyekua so edidi wo so a ehe na akodi hene no wejimi. We need to be asking the relevant questions and stop the foolishness in Ghana. Na Bawumia na nam Ghana ahemfo me ba be mamo den and ahemfo ye be mamo powers a odi be di wan so ensu a wo no mo nya ubewu wo so pe power. Jimmy brutal. Nobody could, no chief, no pastor. Penyini Bawumia nkofo ehia mo original capitals in the whole nation. Penyini bi antman kancha Bawumia say hey, oba na misika say na da ho and the sika na hye. Ye kura etia na adwuma nkofo ye ni enadwuma na say. Dollar net say motete one mo stress no o Jimmy no ho. Nationwide, this guy fooling himself. All because edankofo bitrimu say and he say about NDC ba power. And so sa kwasi pay you know to a embese eni say NDC ba power no. Of any sia NDC hospital kwa dem otwen wajimi. John Kuma bedi finance minister. John Kuma a whole minister, the regional team, a Ashanti region, or this year. We got or the baho, na me fan going. Abu Osun and Takraso. John Kuma, Abrantie, Ashanti region free. Just so. Yarea born or Ashanti region. Yenya hospital bia fanantum. Yadene ban crying. Yakasa oti kurasa na bufu. Yakasa oti wure man na bufu. Yakasa oti kurasa na wakuma ba onti ase. Medidi ohene atem. Sankan Kumasi ye kuruma anka John Kuma nke agene nkwa e Kumasi. Yatam no deche enkran ye de neba. Ne yatena nkran kasa mu asantime mu nyina mu ye nkurasefo a mu dudu na mu buofu. Mom pre impuntio mrefie. Ye owadwa Kevin no. Odidi asantefo atem. Asem no. Nanka Kuma asantime mu enye kurase a anka yatam John Kuma to ambulance mu se ye de neba nkran. E de na won kran ti ye de John Kuma ba nkran. Because you see hospital papa bi won kran aban na siye hospital papa na aban bi esibi wo sewia esibi wo afare adan ne nyina so ma aban ne nye ende modehye ba ko obeboa modehye ba ko wewu ti sa ponche yetete wo enhaye na nkwasiafo bi se ye press conference ye Ashanti Democratic de ne moa oja Kevin de asantini bi onim nyanse bi asre say abrantie asema de bi pese ye kana no ne ntumi kan abrantie kan asantini bi onim nyanse bi abom nsem. Opa tuma ba omi o efamo be say mopa mummo de wuro election day munyina munkosa line na mutuma ba obi I don't care na eseme na me ho hyehye me wo na ho hyehye wo asantini businessman bi o wosika bi onim nyanse bi opemasem ehiafo no time say ehiafo na ejimi ono he has nothing to lose sikeni na why investment no ono ne pemasem because opese aban sesa na ne nyoma koyie esikafo na omu yedwuma papa no a sebio omu na omu hwedi no obi ani wo time omu nyina pemasem ehiafo agimifo no omu se kokko no omu no time because they don't have anything in their name omu ne agapade bi ada ho no kura no eyede ne nyina tena kuro ba akum na yare kan obi wa ha e kire ye tam ne de kwa ha ansa na wonyankwa na oda ho ti saa bebi ni ka se aban na oteso no eboa wo edo wagimi ye nyina ti kuro ba akum yare ka obi wo ha e kire tam ne de ba ha abra ye nyina aha ne ha ye nyina tua to ba ako aden na wo de won pere se adekoro na e wo ha na de bi etam kofo ba ha mo be ayaresabia no e be ya ayaresa no ye nya bi wo ho wo so won ti ase medidi watem otwe all right. But they be asna moshe. Mon kom frusu na yen show. Yawedu. Yawedu.
Itino me de fan say na me de fan say. Ati o mo na 1979. Me soon die. When I had that dream, there was a strong wind. And this strong wind, you know, it's a hurricane. Wherever it passes, say ya boy, say ye nipa, say ya de nipa adequate ni bewu. And Tina me can say me bewu, Tina me slow, let me say ain't me bewu. Then I heard a voice from heaven. Tina me slow, let me say ain't me bewu. Tina me can say me bewu, Tina me slow, let me say ain't me bewu. Then Tina me can say me bewu, Tina me slow, let me say ain't me bewu. Then I heard a voice from heaven. Say, Yawadu. Nancy, a radi or say, bra. Me answer me nam kwa kesi bisu. Na crofon no wi.
Yawadu say. A voice. Yawadu. Oka kawasem yo, mani insisi so na de oka insisi so. Woni papa ku waso daye. E na wote voice. Suddenly woni say voice ni ewurade. E den na hu say voice ni ewurade. Yawadu. Kawasem yo. Sanyo na muye no Ghana ene she buforo into what was free heaven na oti ya straightforward who say ewurade ya wodu kan nsem ye hu nipa nanim unim baby voice ni free enso du hu say voice ni free ewurade ya wodu wahyehe abro wahyehe ma na abro so na wo de duase kan saa wahyehe na komede wo ena wo so nkwase adaye say obi twewase se kopeduane di enye ewurade bi den na hu say ewurade bi na afro the outia ni yawadu ebia na nkonforom no wo wi base no scatter pai ene yebo yawadu sorry enye urade because eyeden na hu say yes urade yawadu kasa ye VR acho ende Counsel me.
Intino me the fan say na intina me ka say me be wuti na me suro na me say ain't me be wu. Then I heard a voice from heaven say yawadu na say awrade o say bra me hu say me nam kwa kesi bi so na nkrofo no wi omo no nsa they call me yawadu bra be me say that God have called me I will not come na ekwan foforo ekwan na so no be hu say me hu say obi a onu moja ya the bucket a si pipe anon ya the cap was yours obi a onu moja ya the bucket a si pipe anon ya the cap was yours
ya we do heaven pipe bed ya could be heaven pipe ano ya we do can we some you heaven and him friend you could be a boho pipe original pipe ano wutimi say a pipe bucket 34 and 36 and I say a rubber bucket and a sala bucket. Iti bucket dey pa na yewodu utumi hu say bucket pipe ya pipe da ye ba ko pa wo so 20 seconds hu say ya pipe ema ye boots you ya wodu kan wonsam you na me feel you ya wodu o de we dey ya wodu the last hour no na me ye start show no
iti no me they call me yewodu bra be me say that God have called me I will not come na ekwan foforo ekwan na so no be hu say obi a onu moja ya the bucket a si pipe anon ya the cap was yours no ya boss sana met ne ya catchere mo dan mu na me de make am obi a onu moja ya the bucket a si pipe anon ya the cap was yours no ya boss sana met ne ya catchere mo dan
yes onu moja yes all reported will be a reporting into da eni mu no obi chire mu achire into wo da eni mu kura konkonza wo ya wodu kasa yo na yesi odu moja de ye ka kire na wo ka kire Ghana pa de ka kire o da edim no wan na ka kire wo so da obi sa ka bibia kire wo ti yesi bucket is pipe ano ene yesi na obi ndu moja ene chese no sa di paro oro ya abortion de ka kire wo na wo ka kire na nya wo na wo so na ye no because the old ya wo so na wo chechire ba kire ana obi na no so da ya na oche ya wodu counsel ye Ghana pa edi kwese se za kro yo nyakopo awara nka se be iya ba se hine
tino me the fan for frost kwana so no be hu se obi a onu moja ya the bucket a si pipe anon ya the cap was yours no ya boss sana me ya catchere mo dan mu na me de make am kwana so no be hu se obi a onu moja ya the bucket a si pipe anon ya the cap was yours no ya boss sana me ya catchere mo dan mu na me
ya we do some na ho de sana me kan na ya sana ya catchere why na catchere wo se da ye wo na wo so yi and a hurricane by and a ball and now and comfort you come and smoke weed and get cigarette and he said no God has called me into a wuna wo chirechirem wuna dae no wuna de wo fam na wo ka kire e die bi no bi ko report kire wa obi na ka kire so obi akono moja e na obi ko ya abortion e na ogina pipe no e na de ka kire na wo ka kire into dae no na so obi sa so ka ho ya wedu over smoking what twa fam yaw sanyoma no ya wedu jai sanyoma no e na osase de ebiem
so me pe dance ne ade di me na me win the whole Eastern region dancing and dressing competition ena afenso no na me ya bofra no so masem den because of say konfuba me no wheat mi to wheat 10 ni atomi so baako me tibi di bi kontom ne fro parabasalt me tibi so ayeti me no wheat mi to wheat 10 ni atomi so baako me tibi di bi kontom ne fro me no wheat mi to wheat 10 ni atomi so baako me tibi di bi kontom ne fro parabasalt me tibi so ayeti ni ade when so hye nsem hu ko a ewinsa ni ade ma pe ni ayi nyina me job be say 4 packets a day change smoker just metwa ni tia no ma
ya wori do American wagon o no wi num cigarette o bo ma na de ade dipa ba ko wase twa ni tia ya wori kasa ye ya wori so make obe politics Ghana politics odu jim and go for do o Ghana politics ye be ko twu hire mu sunu nyina ba be gu table so so wadi Ghana politics odu jim a ye be ko yi wu anga so ye mu sunu abegu a plate so near Casa Wagale Chari. All right, let's do the do. Now, there's one jandam we need to kill. Gigim NPP4 are desperate. Yes, sorry, nah. How many message you? How many one message? How many be? NPP and the Omakoye Edian flyer at the best share a yedian at force na no. Say at force na kase NDC ba power Ombechicha Santimemu Omobuadia panicking. Way a fake news. Kokumase Kore and no more discussed, but they know it's fake news. That is the problem. NPP ni message o tom. Oma imagine say adada ni atro. This is jandam. This is not true. This is a lie. Fifi Kwete, sorry. Fifi Kwete, engineer baby and can say NDC ba power. You bet you change Asantimemu. Asantimai will be then. Asantimai, Edian NDC jo Asantimai. Inte then I won't mean sell you message. Na and the more can some atuton for so Fifi Kwete has said nothing wrong. And he has not said anything like that. Into then and your campaign, Ghana, your politics, you know. Why have they reduced the politics to this cheap propaganda and jandam? Fifi Kwete, the General Secretary of the NDC, on grant interview, baby, he's not spoken about Ashanti region. He's not said anything against the Ashanti region. And Ranetia, and a sim ranty being in Baba press conference, Ashanti democracy with the end. And almost started some more attack Okujata Blakwa. Adentra, Okujata Blakwa say, Edisa ya tonton abaija pade Emma politicians. Wambo be a ding. The abeto dwa HSF Freddy Blay. Any day, any Brian Champon, you kufuadomo, omo tonton abaija pade momo. And I'll see you yenke trimbum and stop it. Yenyam maba wane mrantie abe press conference say, Okujata Blakwa ye awuneni nkwa de oye no, oye tia santefonia kamfo mwa. This is jandam. Anytime I can say ende, so what Ghana ende? Na say at this point, Oda Honka say over to my NPP. With all due respect, why didn't I say you and waka? Because someone gets a catch as about Miana would do when you not waka. And so what's study BBR in Ghana politics now? What the end? Oh, there's one thing you will never see NDC Niso Oye, and that is. NDC ni kawatro. Na odiaji to me, it's never. NDC for they don't tolerate that. So what study Obia we free NDC mubiano, it was because of Omwankasa character. Here in Sembebra is NPP muno. Sa ankemu 1% is NDC mua ankasanko for ya pamo mu free party. I'm telling you, and you people know. Enkwasiadi is NPP mu. No respect for the rule of law, no respect for party structures, people fooling around, they can't demoye, and the majority of these people would have been kicked out. Oh, so what study NDC? You cannot do that. All the people who have walked out of the NDC, it is because of their own character. She'll be to say a Alote Jacobs and a character and a pushing out of NDC. And you can see. And you can see clearly and a character and the pushing out of the NDC. Now, so what's the idea? The NPP, you know, every time they use their disgruntled and I said a foolish NDC for they did not want to adhere to a party rules and regulations. Sa NDC for now, they thought to say without them the party cannot move on. Every day the NPP gets to use those dogs, and I won't study yet. Right now, you will see Obidise Goku. You will see Obidise Alote Jacobs. What is their plan? Their plan is that let us go and say things about the NDC. Not send a beya MPP, a beya NDC. No, it will not change Ghana's situation. It is I will study all these people are. So we'll check it. These two parties are. We have discipline. What NDC? Now we have discipline. What NPP? What is NPP? That is a zoo. Now. The only thing they have is that Koko can be safe for NDC, Koka for Mahama. It will not change anything because Ghana, Koko war one vote and was a Jimmy. Was a Kuniba. Until the end of the day, no onokra on that Nenasia Tatai. Every single Ghanaian has a vote. Obi ko UGMC onimnipo yeah. Obi ende or calculating the sika daho ende any sika daho 2016. They will think before they vote. In this West Stadia. The NPP always try and find the NDC for now. They could not fit in the NDC because of their character. Party is what I NDC no. O character nyana we Jimmy you cannot fit in. You will walk. Obi ampamo wankasa you will walk out. Na nyama esi NPP no emu 1% kwasi NDC wankasa ankofo nyina agye jompa agi omo free party nim. Sankwasi asem no ntumi nye no asedu nketie nim. No. Fifi kwete sankwasi asem na NPP for ye no. You cannot do it in that party. John Mahama omon allow ma un Jimmy ho sa wo. You will leave. And that is what a political party should stand for. Into opuro Jimmy say woku ayidowu, and all that he can say is that John Mahama nyewe at the end of the day na ba ye baako wase kuniba on fan the ba autopsy but me famba. These are fools that the NPP always want to use. I know what national check it. Discipline. Party or more discipline. They can manage their people and make sure say they are serving Ghanaians and yes arrogance. Koko anyi do atamos nya power. Hwankwasiade koko anyi do we wo Ghana. Small power edema no odi the president chike do bie gate. Hwankwasiade akwa wo Jimmy we ye wo Ghana. And hwede waye. Why say Bolaka? The baby at time. Look at how Koko anyi do look at him now. You see him, I say Bolaka, the baby at time. Nenimu at time, nenimu kan. Nenasi tatai. What does he do? Ejuma ben oye. Refraf. He has nothing. Only BBI. Into the only way he can survive today is Koka asemboni for Mahama on NPP for $100. That's all. Ejuma ben Koko is jobless. Odi atamu se chikeke nkwasiadia oyeye. Koko anyi de umwadia oye o Ghana. Jimmy o Jimmy no ho. Oka ho na NDC lose 2016 elections. Koko anyi de. So you don't have to spend your time on a man who murders his own child. That man is a fool. So why are we even entertaining such a person? But the NPP always find ways to use such people. Because some of them say, they have no message, a bit to me, I convince the Ghana for. They have no message. This foolish koko anyi do Jimmy way. Ya chini ko sheme anya NDC for adako yi no. Anya kufu na chini shemu. Koko anyi do ye arrested no. Anya John Mahama na ko yi no. So you can see say he's pained. Anything na obre no ejuma be na oye. Cause ya ubi say oye Atamos Institute. Why na ho? Abuofun osora na for pamphlet bi kuta no de nam. He's jobless. He's a chain smoker, he's a weed smoker. He always wants to satisfy his appetite. It is a way nyape netaki bape or say let me go and attack Mahama. NPP before will feed me like a dog. That's what he does. Me say, koko anyi do or you're addicted to cigarette and weed. The moment because Onyejuma he's jobless, very dirty. And Ubusana said Juma Ben Oya or say Oya Atamos Institute. Abuofunu edi ani Atamos Institute. What is Atamos Institute? This thing. Look at this. Look at this. And you want John Mahama to spend his time on such things. Look at this. Look. Why are we? This thing. Such a fluffy being. Such a fluffy animal. And you want the NDC to lose focus and concentrate on such a dirty riffraff. He has no job. And these are people the NPP used. They be here because people like this, people like Alote Jacobs, they walked out of the NDC willingly because they could not fit, because of their greedy lifestyle, because of konkonsa beye any anwaya. And where Mahama has gotten to, Koko Anyido can go to heaven and come. He will not get there 1%. Baby, I said in Ketiedu, baby, I feel this guy can do whatever he wants to do on earth. He will not get there because Onyanko Pong Ambo was untumi nyesa. The guy is sick, very sick. And we don't have to be wasting time on such selfish, dirty ingrates. We have better things to think about. So let's concentrate on the bigger picture. na yen deal Mr. P. Yen dealing with very important issues. They have no message. So let's forget about this murderers and deal with Anka. This is the time he's having press conferences telling Ghanaians, showing the world the autopsy of Nebano Dieku Neba, Nankinyanya sympathy. This guy, for about 7 years, Obanen Dada, Atano, he lacks sex. Now, the Nina ko, I say, Kokuo. Obamen anyway, but Ako bien and myself, Bidieka. He lacks it. Kokuo is he has been tired. Atano, he is tired. And he lacks ni brain no moja de baby also kodu na ye adwuma enduru ho because system no choki bebre wada why is zomi. He lacks sex. So he's always bitter. He is always envious of people who can change their engine oil. Kokonyi who has become like Latobi Okwashi Trotro. Bibia why he lacks it. I no bone. He lacks sex. This guy about 7 years, but only bandada. First, no co a best 7 years, only bandada. Inti atano ama. I saw or bottom or chino so quas or a soft. I dear bet you say at tables samai. I dear bet you also a garden boy or much or winning the onion. A juma ben oye. Ubusan or so at Tables Institute. Why the oh? Or quite a pamphlet in the Kuta Jimmy who Ghana. NDC for more opportunity. NDC can stay in opposition for 50 years. Koko you will not get any opportunity. Baby, I'm a permanent wapimono. Kweku, I love you. But you know, you lack it. I can help you out. I have so many girls I can call and say, sort Kweku out. Kweku, you lack it. Your system is choked. Your brain cells is not receiving. They are not receiving the needed nutrients. So your system has become a nikinika system. You lack sex. Technically, you are a woman. You lack it. Just say, I just say, oh, go quite so yare. You see, look at you. Why should a whole political party spend their time on you? Why? If you want we to open a GoFund for you better be a GoFundMe. You are sick. You are sick. You have a problem. You see, pain. Live in a free world. Be good. Let the people who are doing better than you breathe. Look at you. Look at you. You better me tiasha wa maun. La Paz, you better be wa maun. You better be so a kwashiman. You better you better be wo Instagram. Udru eye papa a KFC wana. And you better be wo sa lane so maun. You better be so nyebi ewo eye ring road. You better be so ase nyebi ewo ura osu ofe echiro ha. You better be wo maun. You better be bebre mama a omaba. You lack it. You lack sex. And then I had to be a more than NC, no. I'll go with you. All right, Kweku, I'll be back to you, Just say something and let me send some girls to you. Obre, I. Atamos we would that the bushing for are happy. Atamos is at a good place. You are dying. You are dying within because you are foolish. You are dying within. Your life has come to a halt. Tell us who killed your daughter. Tell us. Let us see the autopsy report. All right, thank you very much, Kweku. Koku Anyidowu Fantin Awunenia Boa. All right, now let's move forward. Fake news, no? Yeah, disqualify fake news, no? Now, once my man texted me, I'm Miniabre. There's a S, Mr. P. I didn't be. It a fool too much. Kweku do with Jim too much. Now. Let's do some history, kakra, and sanaya and the story now. Now, this is something that majority of Ghanaians, young people need be ensured that if you want to say Tsikata ejelino, na DNC, and you have to say a year at forcing. You say ambulance case be our court. Assembling a child be who Eddie dance here, and this NPP, a political party for the NPP, no, that is what they have been doing. And it's about time the NDC started learning some lessons. And also taking serious decisions when it comes to fighting back people who deliberately decide to destroy lives. And the NPP as a political party, that is what they do. Now, Chachu Tsikata is a fine gentleman. Now, Chachu Tsikata history, and the your young people in Ghana, they hear, oh, Chachu, Kufo Jeli Chachu Tsikata, NPP for Jeli Chachu Tsikata, oh, yeah, ding. Now, a DN is see Chachu Tsikata echo jail. Now, Chachu Tsikata, Odimse Obeko jail. Now, Chachu Tsikata, as someone in court, Naya Kenri. Chachu Tsikata, was he going to court to go listen to Sesibia, Debia Atofo Semoso Echo Court Nana? These are things we are supposed to remind ourselves. Since Ekufuado, Kufo Ejeli Chachu Tsikata, and they 16 years, Kufo years, Adiano. Me catch them, Yabapa Kufo 50. Oba power no kuta 2 agendas. The first one was to make sure say JJ Rawlings with Jelly Rawlings anyeye. The second agenda was to make sure say NDC phobia onpe omasem he jails them. That is why in the first place Oba he came to set up what we call a commission, reconciliation. Owie no say oye fast track court. 2 things. Agenda ningina was to put people in jail. People who were innocent about issues. Kufo had an agenda. Na NPP for agenda. Into Oba and also every fast track court. Fast. And you bet now 24 hours near jailing Kufo. Into and it was targeted at some individuals. NLT be a friend of the reconciliation commission. And also na a set a trap said the bay and could be because the JJ Rollins actually 2 boni 2 nan court yefa JJ Rollins and to if you say for good and also ANC. But he was able to get away with this one, which is Chachu Tsikata dieno or try or manipulative system as the president or behind the scenes and already or manipulative system no ma system no finding a way to jail Chachu Tsikata. Later ochano ho ebeka say obema Chachu Tsikata dien obema no eye what's the word? He wanted to pardon him. Ono o she chire ejeli Tsikata wie no. O wie no so o person o pardon no. O man the presidential pardon. Now story na it is saying, and sometimes we do these things because as some court is here, no, that is the modus operandi of the NPP. Omoba abemu bia the omodi NDC no. Anything I catch NDC say at this point that has to change. That has to change because at least the Kufuor Baumia by way a lot of evidence and reasons why over 20-30 people have to go to jail. First, Rebecca said, oh, there wasn't a clear-cut reason to jail anybody from the NPP. But at least for the past 7 years, what we have witnessed in Ghana, no, every attorney general who serves under John Mahama from 2025 should be able to jail not low-profile NPP for, high-profile NPP for. And we don't have to forget that. It is a who study Chachu Tsikata case very well. And the Pepe na 16 years a J Ekufuor a share court and making sure say you jail Chachu Tsikata. Now assembly say moment kan history kekrebi ye wi ani ura and the court what actually transpired. The ambulance case we no na ya juxtapose and I say they atoto ho. Now if we how the NPP operates and why they are a dangerous political party. And every day they make Ghana for Obidi Bonia or say it's a fact. But we should not use the law against people when we know that some people are not guilty of a crime. There's one thing I always preach on my platform. Say Obidi Boni wa Ghana. Na say Emrano, ye di Emrano so na Emrano you applying a failure. That person needs to pay or has to face the consequences. It's a fact. And I'll not sit on my platform on any day to defend somebody who has been seen committing a crime with facts, proven facts. I will never do that. I will contest anybody who tries to skew the process, who tries to use the process against people because they have power, like what Godfrey Dame and Judge Sewa are doing in the High Court of Ghana today. But before we move into court today, let's take our time and read. Nianko back and say, hey, now when you see ya Rijeli Chachu Tsikata 5 years. Now a dear pan or yeah. Now assembly pan assembly because I've heard so many people talk about say Yejeli Chachu now or in the head GMPC and a Chachuko Diska. It wasn't about Sika Chachu D. What was actually the issue? Did Chachu actually commit a crime? A DNA judge, any conform agent also say young fan to fiase. These are things we need to know as young Ghanaians. A guide, a shape. What every political party, the kind of mentality and ideology they have. And then in our decision making, especially when we are choosing leaders, when we are choosing people to lead us. Because Enya Obia or Ghana Nibia and the dog Ghana. There are some people who tell you they are Ghanaians, but they don't have Ghana at heart. And that is what we are seeing today. People are suffocating the laws of this country, bending the rules to favor some individuals. The Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, Akatre, said we all have the rights, to defend ourselves as Ghanaians. And some people are not supposed to take the law into their own hands. Maybe especially people who have been given the opportunity to be in position. Momianko Nianko read exactly what Chachu did. Now, this is the history. And this platform, you know how it is. We try our best to break it down. Today, June 18, marks exactly 16 years since the wrongful conviction of esteemed legal colossus, Chachu Tsikata. Uko Enima will say, on this day, in 2008, na Kufuor na president. Na aka dieng, aka beye afe. June, na aka beye 6 months, right? Na yakotwaba. So all the two ended the same thing. Akabe 6 months ni yakotwaba. Kufuor to be dia no na akabe 6 months na yakotwaba. The same strategy no use here. So be free power. Always they find somebody in the NDC or a high profile nobody has some so. I am trying to let you see how the NPP they operate. So I don't in the crowd, I don't have a problem. But I want to show the young ones now, Moshe and Adrino. Hey, Mr. S. And Mr. S, why do you bring this now? I will deal with this later, Mr. S. This one, when I'm in the mood, then I go slot it in, right? All right. Thank you, Mr. S. Now, so check it, timer. Kufuor insisted, say, Chachu Tsikata. Which video are you talking about? They have something to give me. Mr. S. Okay, thank you, Mr. S. I'm sorry. I was talking to my team. When did I? Can you hear me now? When did the audio go off? Was it when I started reading Chachu Tsikata and I said after? Because I want to start over. When did the audio go off, Mr. S? What time did it go off? Was it when I started reading this document or before? Okay, let's just do this. In here, confirmation from my team before I continue. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's go on this. Intimate church at Tsikata, Boni, so yeah, Boni and also Anya Boni. Now, so calculated time Kufuor insist yeah, then I buy NPP I buy ejina to say yen jeli Chachu Tsikata na ka be 6 months na Kufuor if you abai mu na omu hia bibi dia campaign send be yan komo betime win campaign no into omu hwehwe ma no say oh Chachu oya wonani yen jeli no tie into omu ko twe Chachu fi GMPC and omu insist say I was say jeli Chachu Tsikata into now Momen ready the AC Yankasa at this point, a mark for Aban Ejina so can say they need to jail Chachu Tsikata for 5 years and I got 6 months. Now Ekufuor the neighbor Omia Bino I right now we are faced with another possible judgment against the NDC because the NPP they want to jail at forcing. Now we read the second paragraph. Now this is what it says. It says this. All right, Mr. S. On this day in 2008, an Accra High Court found Chachu Tsikata guilty of willfully causing financial loss to the state, a conviction that shocked the nation and sent ripples through Ghana's legal and political landscape. Almost see, year 2008 around June ena edien eye court ewo Ghana eye high court ejeli Tsikata say eye den Tsikata akose financial loss to the state. Sata na J.A. Kufuor ene ye president. Na J.A. Kufuor na aka no bosumi beye insia na ofiri aban mu. Now, so kind story now. Say on that fateful day, Tsikata stood in court without his lawyer, who was absent due to a scheduled interlocutory application. Saturday no mujeli chachu na chachu court se sebia ato force in court de biai na judge in case obe the judgment. Na case ne kurampo no yenkan wie ye. Day na chachu court no na ne lawyer mpo nka no ho. Na ne lawyer the application fufure chira e fa cha case no ho the same court premises. Enti chachu Tsikata under Kufuor's regime no or court as a regular they say ende at force court no. There was no indication because the case had not ended. Nobody had closed their case. The case had not finalized. They were just going to court on a normal day. Now, Tsikata drew court no. What happened was that na the court the lawyer knew. Na owura court no they call any. Tsikata intended to inform the court of his lawyer's absence and seek an adjournment, and so there was no anticipation of a judgment. As two other critical applications were pending at the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court. In the Chachu court that day, no, na Chachu lawyers are filing applications mienu bako ewo Supreme Court and bako ewo infa ewo Appeals Court. Sa applications until it is heard, no judge can read a judgment. That is how it works, because the applications have been submitted and received by the Appeals Court and the Supreme Court respectively. At that point, Chachu went to court to tell the judge, say, this is what has happened. That is why my lawyer is not even with me, because an application has been filed. My lawyer is following it up. Said this is what is going on, because read the judgment. There is no way you can read a judgment without my lawyer, and it does never happen. It never happens. A judge can never read a judgment without the accuser's lawyer there. You cannot just go ahead and say, I'm reading a judgment. That's why there's a notification. Yama obia notice say ada way enitina ye bebu asema. Judge or data or dibu asem. Oti asem ni nyina wi na wa hyeda. O see ada way obia mra sa da na mebu asem no. That means or package all the parties should be present on this date. So there's no way a judge can read judgment without all the parties knowing, and also when there is an application pending. No, it never happens. But under J.A. Kufuor buying, it was possible. Mechiramo, the NPP, the way they work. Met my catcher for a fact. At forcing, some are me to you. Probabilities of jail at forcing it is high. I'm telling you. Ya can't wamano. It is part of the NPP Omwankasa party plan. Every time they come to power, they need to use the law against somebody in the NDC. It's a fact. It is something that has been arranged. A party, a party strategy, and yet ended almost started way back 16 years ago, and almost started Sasam. Now let's move forward. Notably, the Supreme Court was deliberating on the commercial viability of Valley Farms, the cocoa producing company at the heart of Tsikata's charges. In the time of Tsikata Crown Court na one oba normal court no, na Supreme Court no omo da ho ka application na Chachu to Supreme Court no through ne lawyer. So it means the application was being considered by the Supreme Court. If the Supreme Court has thrown out the application in the first place, then you will say you have a case. But that application had been accepted. It has been considered by the Supreme Court. They were contemplating or deliberating on it. So how can a judge go ahead and strike and say, I'm giving judgment today? Abra, when you go to the Supreme Court and the Appeals Court, there are applications pending which is being deliberated upon. Metro NPP no. They are dangerous people. He was accused of unlawful using the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC, to guarantee a loan for Valley Farms while serving as its chief executive officer. Asama Akufo-Addo editor Chachu Tsikata so ne say. Chachu Tsikata na oye GNPC boss no. Eye company bia ye friend no eye Valley Farms no. Or the eye GNPC ena ekodi aginemu agi loan ema saa den saa company ana farm no. Intina eye private company Valley Farms. Ena Akufo-Addo ne say Chachu a oye GNPC boss no or the eye GNPC sika kwesia wa say saa farm no enkonkoji some loan bi inti wabo Ghana kro no eye no kre ana anya no kre enu nti na e court enu nti na nkrata any judges any lawyers e chirechirem. Now, despite the pending applications and the incomplete trial, the High Court, in an unexpected turn of event, convicted and sentenced Tsikata to 5 years on each of the 4 counts to be served concurrently. Inti, the charges for the tone so. Saturday na Tsikata area court and a lawyer and so Supreme Court find a way to make sure say the Supreme Court will hear the application. No, the 4 charges, the 2 charges, no, say could be also could them 5 years. You can say concurrently. That means say jeli Tsikata 5 20 years. But ningina start to pay into obe 7 in 5 years. In the Tsikata raw court, na judge can say she does not care whether his lawyer has filed an application at the appeals court or the Supreme Court. She did not even give a date that she was going to give judgment, because if she had put out a date for judgment, and Chachu Tsikata's lawyers would be there, and the other party would know, said this is what was going to happen. Even journalists who were covering the story did not even know Chachu was going to be jailed that day. But when they entered the court, and one judge can say the 4 the count na yada to so nyina charges no, all the 4 charges no bu na 4 ni nyina mu. Na saa asem na yada to Chachu so no na asem na nkasa eye no kre anansa enya no kre mumendwedwem. Now, when you go for it, it says this. This sudden decision came just days before the Supreme Court was set to rule on the commercial viability of Valley Farms, a ruling that would eventually favor Chachu Tsikata. In the time na Assembly Court, no, Chachu Tsikata lawyers echo file application. Supreme Court to say, winning BB. Assembly because of High Court. Sa farms na almost say Chachu Tsikata akodi the GNPC akosia wawa akodi sika ma farms no application na Chachu Tsikata lawyers file court Supreme Court say farm no na enhie sika GNPC amfom sika bi ankosia wawa enkrata ewo say sa farm we Valley Farm we omo gina omo na so na omo angasa etumi di omo dwuma no enie international Supreme Court no na omo in the process of basically saying say ampa omo giatum na High Court judge no ho na oye dwuma makofo no na omo nim say because the Supreme Court that time na ye legitimate Supreme Court no, that Supreme Court then there were Supreme Court that you could not enter and do business. In 2008, the Supreme Court we had were noble men and women who were basically looking at the issues before they pronounced judgment. But because the Attorney General then who served under Kufuor and J.A. Kufuor himself who had diabolic mind, they used the High Court judge to, at the end of the day, call judgment. Abrana Supreme Court was about to call the case and say no. South Valley Farms for no, they actually have money. They are operating in the Sobi Kase Chachu Tsikata and the GNPC sika kwesi awa mamo buano, because they know say Supreme Court next case this one definitely that Supreme Court 2008 the no America and then that 2008 Supreme Court they were going to say from the document before them in fact Chachu Tsikata was not guilty or near bonnet. But the moment Supreme Court the High Court judge cannot jail Chachu. And it was in the same week as Supreme Court etnasi. And they knew that the Supreme Court was going to say Chachu Tsikata was not guilty because the Valley the farms for no Chachu did not basically use a GNPC sika to guarantee for them. Into what the NPP government then did was to go ahead of the Supreme Court. That is why, even though there was an application at the appeals court and the Supreme Court, the High Court bypassed all these powers because the president then, J. Ekufuor, had instructed the Attorney General and the judge then to call judgment that day. It's not a planned from the government. What you say? Now, young queen in the facts, and this is the same thing they are doing today. Yeah, we are at force in case, So this case, Ekufuor and a static case, Tie. Now the Danko Ekufuor and a static case way. A Hon Ekufuor obe exposing who control the first time they entered court. Say the Tsikata against J. Ekufuor, a whole Attorney General, when he was filing his case. That is how he filed the case. And a judge Nikache Ekufuor say you are dumb. This is the Tsikata against the states, against Ghana. It is not a fight between Chachu and Kufuor. So the judge in court told Ekufuor to say, hey, you are dumb. You are not a lawyer, eh? How did you become an Attorney General? Go back and rectify this problem. In the time, that was when Kufuor Kache Ekufuor should step aside and Kofa Jogate by. So Jogate was the Attorney General who made sure they scrutinized, they executed the system to jail Tsikata. Jogate. Ekufuor started the case. But Ekufuor, early on, Ekufuor said, no, Ekufuor is a criminal. Ekufuor does not know the things he's saying, no, and a legitimate lawyer, and that he's making fundamental mistakes in his applications. And that they realized that Ekufuor was just there, it was just a hype. The woman who said Ekufuor born so file case said Ekufuor against Tsikata. A honor Ekufuor who said Abi. Akwawe sa dede kwa wabon onye lawyer papa quick eno mu Ekufuor the free on the Jogate be show eno mu change ye no Tsikata against the states and not against Ghana. Internet because it was the government of Ghana trying to sue Tsikata. Now yanko enim until they bypassed conform making sure say they bypassed the Supreme Court and Appeals Court because they knew the judgment was not going to favor the Attorney General or Ekufuor Baino. They knew Tsikata was going to work. So what they did is even though share judgment date, judge the judge who was sitting on that case, Mr. S, give me the name, I just forgot. Judge no case no Kufuor any Attorney General Jogate Muna Kunaive ye and omu kole and omu judge case no they are no obian expect say be judge case tie. Even the Attorney General later admitted that the Supreme Court at the Supreme Court that Valley Farms was indeed commercially viable, a crucial detail that Chachu's lawyer had sought to include in the trial evidence. Until later na omujeli Chachu wie no na Jogate begina court so oh omujitum say Valley Farms no in fact omanga so mo musika dada na enye Chachu na odi enim ekope guarantee mo onfa GMPC sika o jeli ni wie no na the Attorney General admit Jogate admit say because the idea was jail him. Do not follow due process. Make sure you skew the system. That time in 2008, they said the Supreme Court was a legitimate court. They knew you could not go to the Supreme Court and do business. They knew as an Attorney General, you cannot go to the Supreme Court and shop for judges. So they knew their nonsense, they could not take it to the 2008 Supreme Court. I am talking about the 2008 Supreme Court, not today's Supreme Court. Today's Supreme Court is basically like Malata. You can go and pick the fresh tomato you want, and it will be something sitting there waiting for you. Now, yanko enim. The political undertones of the conviction were evident. Besides, give me the name. On June 18, 2008, Tsikata drove himself to court, expecting another judgment. However, the state was prepared for a different outcome. For the first time since the trial began in 2002, the Attorney General appeared in court with a full retinue of legal officers. Case started 2002. No, not the Attorney General back court. or the nipa bakumienu. Na sad day na mo peso mu jeli Tsikata, which is the 18th of June 2008. No, Attorney General came with a lot of members. Obano, no, or the lawyers bear 9, or the clerk for bear 4, or the just say, say, Attorney General was well prepared. Everybody was like, what is happening today? It's a regular court hearing. It is not like you are coming on the final day at the hearing. But people saw, journalists saw, say, hey, today the Attorney General is fully packed, or the cruise in Yinaba. Abemum Penfonia, the Adina Diomochi, Attorney General Jogatechi Eba court. But Tsikata had a clear mind. He was thinking, say, his lawyer has filed the application and that the High Court will listen to the Supreme Court because they know that when there is an application pending, you cannot call judgment. Okay. Judge Ninani Henrietta Aban. Later, I see Owusa Kramain. Henrietta Aban. They said the judge, she died, she was back up to Kramain and said, oh, her death was despicable. Mr. Get me her picture. Now, this is what it says. The courthouse was surrounded by police officers and the media buzzed with anticipation. Day na Tsikata court, regular court, no. Attorney General nebano, na the police for begu court ho nyina abontene. Omukuta tuo. Na say, Kofo dinka my instructions say ende Madam Judge, jail no. It's not Jogatemo, they were coming to jail Tsikata. Abra Nominu said there was due process ongoing. Nominu said there was an application pending. But for them, they had already made up their mind. They didn't care about the court too. Kofo when a buyer, me saw the 2 agendas ne buy. 1, fast track High Court to jail NDC for, and 2, obe setting up a reconciliation commission to make sure say with Jelly JJ Rollins, I'm Yakuboni 2. The 2, he failed 1, but 1 there he tried his best to do it. And then make some children. Now, the only person unaware of the unfolding drama was Tsikata, who was subsequently taken to Nsawam prison without his family's knowledge. Tsikata by regular court, ne family they entered the court alone, no lawyer. The judge says, Kim, I've read my judgment, jail him, take him to Nsawam. That is how NPP booming. Today be out Tsikata case, you know. This is how it happened. Now, this is what it says. Tsikata's time at Nsawam prison became a well-known chapter in his life story. Despite the harsh conditions, he refused a presidential pardon from President John Ejekun Kufuor, choosing instead to trust in the judicial system's eventual vindication. Yase Kufuor jeli chachu wie no. Chachu di okachire no ho. Ekachire Ghana for se ono. Ondi bone na sebio ondi bone nti obetwen ama Ghana mbra na nkasa ayeden asaniti eyi na free eyeden eye strategy ene krono ankofo bi hyehye to ne so enti kofo say twa ne ho ka say eye chachu me pese me ma presidential pardon me pese me ma amnesty ena chachu ka say you jailed me, you and your Attorney General, you jailed me. You knew I wasn't guilty of any crime. You knew I had not committed any crime, and I am not going to fall for your antics again. Kofo jail ni we no osi oh we there jail ni na nam kwan papa into me you. Tsikata said no, let me sit here for the right thing to be done. Na afegana for hu se mendi bone na court nankasa and reverse eye de omoyeye because when I would go to fiase obama me pardon later no catch you be say you are I'm an ex-convict, you pardoned me. That means bone ne de da ho da me so. But Tsikata say me mendi bone inti pardon or pardon me no so pardon me I am coming out as somebody who was guilty, but I am not guilty because I'm coming bone na pardon me dia kamaje. But mindi boniti me pese emrana wo any jogate any kufuado mo bending no with a high court judge no. You people should make sure say Sam Ranankasa asa reverse no. So Tsikata stood on the principal line because enkatachu for lema kofo sa Machiavellian tactics kofo wa se anoma okohunu nsuo na wa ba busa say na hwan na hunu nsuo no ono na jele Tsikata or side Tsikata ebeti nenim abeji fans e dey abeji political numbers. And this was 6 months Kufuor eba be wie na aban. This is what the NPP does. Now, let's watch this.
Coal that provides foreign exchange for Ghana's oil requirements, and he sees an opportunity when GMPC Investment Advisors and Trustees Merchant Bank propose a transaction with Valley Farms. GNPC guarantees a loan from Caisse Centrale, the French aid agency for the production of cocoa by Valley Farms on a divested cocoa board plantation which had high-grade cocoa. This move helped GMPC financing for oil imports. The Attorney General in the Supreme Court said the state was not questioning the viability of the project. So where is the loss? It is only 6 months to the end of term of the NPP government, and President Kufuor's wishes have been fulfilled. He gloats over Chachu's imprisonment in a rally speech at Medina, Accra. A spontaneous campaign to free Chachu begins with membership from all over the country and abroad.
When the government of the New Patriotic Party first came to power, it was in 2001, you remember J.H. Mensah? He stood on a political platform and stated that by the time they finished with their opponents, the NDC would not be standing. Presumably, he had in mind jailing them. B.A. Mensah, the businessman, a close associate of the president, did an article in the Chronicle where he stated that it was time to touch the untouchables. And one of the untouchables that he specifically mentioned was Chachu Tsikata.
He has served this country with great sacrifice, and he has served this country with great effectiveness. If Ghana today is about to become an oil-producing country, it is largely due to the work that Chachu Tsikata did in GMPC.
Adientia eni se yenu Chachu Tsikata de fiase sima baakupo. Eni se onwia obi adama, enwia obi ateku, onfa obi asika. Yenu Chachu Tsikata onye kronfo. Ena onye wagadre. Oye omamba pa waye adwuma se ne be ya Ghana mani na betumpon. Enunti eniese enise oda ifiase.
The case was heard and treated by a competent court, not in the sense of a legally competent court, but a professionally competent institution. That it was done by an impartial body and done in a manifestly impartial manner. Those two are the conditions for saying once you've been to court, you can't complain. If you are absent, you haven't been to court. You may be the kangaroo court, but not the court. A commentator in the Legon Observer, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at that document, described this as, and I quote, quite amazing and fundamental errors. And I would be embarrassed if I was a professional and had this comment made about me. Luckily for us, this particular matter is still before the Supreme Court. And it is entirely possible that they will correct the error.
What the Bible in Exodus 3:19, which is Chachu's response to my answer, whether he was optimistic and whether we should be optimistic about his freedom and his release, is as follows. Unless a mighty hand forces the king of Egypt, he doesn't think he's going to come out of prison. That's the answer that I got from Chachu himself through the Bible. But I'd like to add the verse that follows. He didn't quote that, but I want to add that verse. That verse says that, so I will raise my hand and strike the Egyptians, performing all kinds of miracles among them. Then at last, he will let you go. I yearn for that day when God will let Chachu go. And I'd like the word to go out to him that many of us here will be there ready and waiting for him. And we think it will be sooner than later to celebrate, that release with him.
Chachu has sacrificed his life for our dear nation. Chachu has demonstrated that you can engage in public service without looting state coffers, without getting corrupted, without amassing wealth. And yet, how do we repay him for these sacrifices that he has made?
Chachu has no business being there. When people like Chachu, are put in a place like this, that should tell you the nature of the government. That should tell you the nature of Kufuor and his people, of Nana Akufo-Addo, etc.
There aren't that many people who live by our national anthem. As soon as you start talking about the truth in Tsikata's case, it is given all sorts of colors. Thank you for being bold to defend the cause of freedom and of right. Remember, God is watching. God is watching. Thank you very much.
Members are unrelenting in their pursuit for justice for Tsikata and his release.
If you want to kill me,
Free Chachu now is their passionate cry. In 2001, soon after coming into power, the NPP announced its plan to wipe out the NDC through criminal prosecutions. Nana Akufo-Addo, President Kufuor's first Attorney General, becomes the executor of the agenda. Judges, his accomplices, and the courts, his vehicle. Akufo-Addo, who professes to be a human rights lawyer, charges Chachu Tsikata with a law that came into force years after the purported crime, contrary to the Constitution of Ghana. He first sends Tsikata to a fast-track court. The summons is in the name of the president. Tsikata takes the matter to the Supreme Court. He argues that the fast-track High Court was not lawfully constituted under the Constitution of Ghana. The summons in the name of the president is also contrary to the tenets of the Constitution. Justice is not supposed to be administered in the name of the president. It is to be administered in the name of the people by a judiciary independent of the executive. Nana Akufo-Addo is stunned. President Kufuor from faraway Australia announces his determination to have the decision reversed. The NPP is upset, and Akufo-Addo and a number of cabinet ministers, including Osafo Mafo, then finance minister, hold a press conference to denounce the Supreme Court's decision. For President Kufuor, Akufo-Addo and the NPP, Tsikata must go to jail by hook or by crook. The first thing the president does on return to Ghana from Australia is to appoint a new Supreme Court judge for a review of the Supreme Court decision. Meanwhile, Tsikata is brought before the normal High Court. The court throws out the charges. Using legislation retroactively to find a criminal charge is unconstitutional and discharges him, but they still pursue him. Even in the house of God, in the presence of the Almighty, at the Asbury Danwell Church, on the Sunday the president is due to return from Australia, policemen are sent by Akufo-Addo to arrest Tsikata. Tsikata insists that he will worship first and report to the police after. Pastors and elders of the church intervene, pointing out that Tsikata had always made himself available when the police asked him to report. The police PR outfit now denies there had been any order for the arrest of Tsikata. Later, NPP officials blame NDC for the attempted arrests. harassment of Tsikata had been incessant from 2001 when President Kufuor came to power. Waylaying of Tsikata by security personnel at the airport, his passport being seized, Tsikata and his wife being prevented from traveling. Even his computer was stolen at night from his residence. Tsikata survived an armed attack in Lagos. He has been subjected to trial by newspapers, and false allegations by government officials such as Kandapa and KT Hammond have been widely publicized against him.
NDC be a time, Amaka Anuaka Ghana Bana oil. Your government take about our oil. Naka Shikaha Tsikata. Akayata oil. Ni wana shikapi no cafe Ghana. Ne echo tomo abrochie. Tsikata Keshika. Ekeahu Aquadumo. Banana farms. Ekeshika ya femini. Banana farms. Akako ya fe telephone.
Tsikata has held press conferences refuting the allegations. He was also one of the targets of government during the National Reconciliation Commission when Chris Asher, who escaped from custody whilst facing murder charges, was flown into the country and given government hospitality and protection to give false testimony that was given extensive coverage on national television. Justice Henrietta Aban fulfilled the government's wishes after the persistent onslaught by the government against Tsikata, sending him to Nsawam prison. After sentencing Tsikata, she exposed her bias to the hearing also of a young journalist. She was going to throw out his application for bail pending appeal.
On the 18th day of June 2008, I heard in the news that Mr. Tsikata, former Chief Executive Officer of GMPC, was jailed for causing financial loss to the state. So the following day, I told myself, well, let me get the judgment and read about his offenses. So I went to the Fast Track High Court, precisely the CJ Court, to get a copy of the judgment. And when I got there, I saw Justice Henrietta Aban in a discussion with a registrar by name Brobe. And as they were talking, I kept quiet. And then what made me to start listening to them was that she said, Tsikata. And then my mind came on her. And she was like, Mati said, Tsikata filed motion for bail pending appeal. Date pen on Momano. And Brobe, the registrar, responded, yeah, man, 23rd, yeah, Monday. And Justice Henrietta Aban went further to say that, Chachu, your baby on ye. My jailing and my jailing no. Me man bail be a 23rd. My mommy ruling. Na me call me baby. Me fan no. And then she walked out of court.
On the night of 15th November 2008, Tsikata suffered an acute asthma attack in his locked cell. The attack lasts about 8 hours, and no help is available till morning. Tsikata miraculously survives. After initial treatment at the Nsawam Government Hospital and 37 Military Hospital, he is taken to the intensive care unit of the National Cardiothoracic Center at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, where he is still receiving treatment. Meanwhile, his pursuit for justice continues with his lawyers in court and with the Free Chachu campaign educating the public about the case. This is consistent with Tsikata's own conviction expressed in Psalm 94 verse 15. Justice will again be found in the courts, and all righteous people will support it.
How many roads must a man walk down before they can call him a man? How many seas must a white dove sail before she sinks in the sand? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind.
Unceasing praise and prayers continue to be offered to God for Tsikata's life and the realization of this justice.
So, Ghana, for right now, you are getting the picture slowly, right? Into Saoshe the AC in the it is Akufo-Addo is using Kufuor's playbook. Aka 6 months, no free power. Into the probability say Atuforsen, how many judge will come together and jail him, no? It is 90%. Now, watch the video, no, and you have followed events. Majority of you watching me did not even know why and how and what actually made Chachu end up in jail. So case you could see said there was no case. But the president then, J. Ekufuor, the attorney generals then, Akufo-Addo and Jogate, and then this judge, Henrietta Aban, this woman, they made sure that Chachu will be jailed. It did not matter. They decided to go against the laws of the land. The legal system, they ignored it. They made sure that their parties, their ambition was fulfilled. Remember, naka 6 months, na Kufuor efri abaimu. Jogate, and the Chachu go jina court, catch the Ghana for say, Chachu has caused financial loss to the state. Abrana Jogate or oye lawyer penyini. Onim say when there's an application pending at the Supreme Court and also at the High Court, Appeals Court, you cannot even call for judgment. Jogate never had a problem. Akufo-Addo didn't have a problem. And you could see from J.A. Kufuor, that was the plan they wanted to execute, and they executed it. Now, before I go on, I want to remind Jogate that we were here when Jogate led Ghanaians said $2 million. Omudi BB Feno Sky Train project ever seen that the $2 million is gone. Jogate was the transport minister. Okacha said COVID-19 forced him, who was the head of the transport ministry. Real and what was the minister of what? His rail and transport, right? He was saying, say, COVID-19 forced him to abandon SkyTrain project. To date, Jogate has not accounted for the $2 million. Jogate needs to understand. Sa abana or the ball eye Chachu Tsikata no. Omo person will repeat the same thing in there no. The same aba obi be bono. I'm just reminding him of this and other things. It's just a reminder to Jogate, because right now no, causing financial loss to the state is the new word. And because of what Kufuor did, the Kufuor siaye Jogate omobu Kufuor emani jeli Chachu no, and no the same thing and omo she echire omo ye no ende. Iti yebeka ende case e court no. Now if you dey atoto eye Kufuor any Kufuor time ho, you will see clearly say the NPP agenda no saying it here. Anytime I catch NDC for say the father for all nonsense no, they need to cut it short. They need to stop it. It needs to get out of their head. They need to reciprocate. They need to give back the same gesture. You are not committing a crime. You are not committing a sin. You are applying the law. When you get the opportunity, these are things we need to do. Because you see, the people you are dealing with as NPP, you know, that is what they deliberately do. But you have to use the law. You see, dear, oya ahwehwama dear no on so at least munim say emrano wo ho. So jogate so the time do, and other people who are 7 and they kufuado, anytime they can decide not to change power next 6 months. I don't care. But anytime power changes, the same abide about techino or see a shesa ban one at the boba. I was just reminding Jogate. Now, Momayambra asama eda ato force and so a case in tea and I end the ato force in our court. Mr. P, are we good? And there's one thing my team, they are telling me to tell you. They have always used the high court and they have always used female judges. Playbook is the same. The NPP, Kofor, Ekufuado, Jogate, Almujeli Tsikata, they always use the high court and they always use a female judge. This is the judge they used, Kofor time, to jail Tsikata. This judge, not only said the oil and yet she knew it. Because after she going through the doc, now then our judge will be on a day on one on country will be also be reading judgment. They always use women. They be able to use a ma judges. And that is the blueprint of the NPP. Today, we are in court again. Mr. Get me the picture of Judge Sewa. This auto-forcing case, they are saying it is 2.3 million euros. The Jogate case, the SkyTrain, it is $2 million. The Jogate case, SkyTrain case, no, I make a choice to see and say $2 million. Ever seen there, ye accounted for no. And the auto-forcing na sama ye kano, 2.3 million euros, the same level. At least auto-forcing. Ambulance in the eguo. Omom the ambulance in the and say omo joma de. Jogate de ye hu train no. Omo jisika ye nimomo. So I want you to understand the NPP, what they have done and what they intend to do, because aka exactly 6 months and it is part of their party's constitution. So aka 6 months dia I was some jelly NDC senior official nom their campaign. And it's Godfrey Dame Ekufuado, the judge, as we speak today. That case a walk court in the no make a will say a idea Ekufuado are planning. They don't care about anything. They are basically doing what Kufuor did because party no a idea omoye. Now, Yamra and the case in so and the lesson class in the end no yanya bibia credit we nkwa there it's fine. Tsikata's case was just 230,000 Ghana. 230,000 those times. And they account over $2 million. You got it, SkyTrain, but we'll get there. Now, Yambra and the courts in Ghana. A year tape. You see, at forcing na oye deputy finance minister tie. You see, MPP for us have a power bill. Ekufuado na oye attorney general Akufo na omudi jeli Tsikata no. And the have power. Aka 6 months no mako out of power. Almost say at force na bokro no. It also mu jeli at forcing aka 6 months. Now and they go pay court. Audio bina a free court by na your boy time na jakpa ye to na no. And they say a judge say, "Wow, Mr. Give me her picture. I have forgotten." Yeah, okay, thank you. I have it now. Judge Netina no ansana omobeto to japa anono ende e court no. Judge ne say a year sa audio na e ba abontene no. Why instruct national security say omo hwehwe mo no mo hwe nipa or recording wo court wo na mo fa nipa ne mre no. Ye ne record ye. because say nkwan boy. Inti say a judge say what say on tiasie say obi tumi ba the court ebe record ye. Inti wa tape no or record ye no, the judge has instructed the national security. Says sa jakpa last 2 weeks was last week. The interrogation and also cross examination. Na no asem na ye bebo abonte the judge ni say or national security say omo nkwachi nipa oba court wa or yes I recording no. Inti eno na medi nkan ka cho judge ne di nkan ama the ruling ewo sa asem no so. All right. Now momembra substantive issue no so adekudie nti aye court. Adenti ena ende Ghana ban ene atoforsen ene Richard Jakpa ewo court. Mamembo the tofa na menjudwem on this side. Adekudie nti aye court nyane say eye Godfrey Damia oye Ekufuado Attorney General say Oma yehwe nkrata be mu say atoforsen imbra na NDC wo power no NDC aban ekra ambulance be 30 e de ba Ghana. Na sa ambulance na omkra be 30 ba Ghana no. Krata bia sebio aban mu nipa esan ya emede tua eye company na omoye ambulance no ka no. I for the letter of creditor utumi de ko bank ekokoji usika no. Attorney General Godfrey Dame say eye atoforsen na nsa hyaase. Na sa sika yede to ambulance ni nyina na eye 2.3 million euros. Ambulance no yeto fi eye Big C for ho eye company no. Sa ambulance no wo Ghana edan si Ghana from time NPP ba power yen use ye pro it's Parliament House. Na na do dan kweku for Attorney General eye Godfrey Dame say eye atoforsen sa time na Ghana ban ene eye Big C for no sign sa contract say omonkoye ambulance mbre no na atoforsen ene eye deputy finance minister sa time no nipa na eye finance minister na eye Setekwe. Now Jakpa sa Mr. Richard Jakpa ya ni din abemu no na oye an agent for Big C because Big C na a brochure company. Omo here a middleman here who will do what? Make sure say omo ebenya contracts. Inti Attorney General Godfrey Dame say even though Ghana buying any Big C company and a signs our contract no nipa na oyom representative wa ha sebio enye Ghana buying a sign contract no mum ene Big C no o se sa nipa no mum so obese oche sa nipa no inti ene me no ka say Godfrey Dame say yenche Jakpa any Attorney General any atoforsen sata na oye deputy finance minister enkoto ede efiase adenti o se omabo Ghana from omabo Ghana krono no a Attorney General ginaso no ene dien krono ne say o se time na atoforsen eye deputy finance minister na o hye Setekwe ase no atoforsen de ne nsa hye krata na se enti time na omo court no ena eye dien atoforsen ka say in fact dwumadi abidi no menka say nyam na meyeye me ne mensa hyaase efri say me boss a na oho no ena ede o hye me tupa one na o ka kire me say he told me to take that step. So my boss is still alive. You can bring him in if he denies say enye ono ene ka say men sign that document na or didn't seal so na then I can say I did it willingly. But as far as obi na mam instruction munyina munim say sa nipa na da ho tiase eye Setekwe no bring Setekwe to court na ombeka wa ha say enye me na me ye ya so on na mam instruction na say na mam instruction say ye be hu say me na me de me pay ye ya you have the right to say mabo Ghana krono Yakofa Setekwe eba court. They brought him to court in a witness box. The Attorney General who is saying atoforsen has caused financial loss to the state. Atoforsen can say, I did not act on my own will. It was my boss who instructed me. No, the boss who is Setekwe, Nana Oye Finance Minister, came into court. Emma Attorney General Busan say, Setekwe, eyawo ena wo instructi atoforsen say on sign krata we. Ena Setekwe say ane. In fact, secretary no kra wo sign keka. Eno nkyere say sebio finance minister betu sika na was some sama instruction ma would some special sealer menko amene nipa medisi so and sana finance minister be recognize krata no in time was sign no me sama no kwan e ma ne de die e special sealer kire say if finance minister esa de secret no so eno enema finance minister e ma no kwan e ma nkofo no e clear check no in say wo po obi abon so bo a e me if you say me my man sa kwan na my man sa seal na ato force nka on to me fa den nsa enhyase enti judge say wa at court ni nitua na so ate watin sem we nyina and attorney general say wate say take baba beka kire Ghana fo nyina ne court ne sa judge Madam Sewa in front of this judge and they say take ka say me and me man instructions Madam Judge Oti the Chief Justice can give you instructions to perform a duty. When you perform the duty and the problem comes, you can use the Chief Justice as your reference. Because as a High Court judge, you cannot just get up and come sit in court. It was the Chief Justice who did what appointed you to come sit on this case. So if somebody attacks you, the person is indirectly attacking the Chief Justice. So as a judge who is intelligent and knowledgeable enough and rational enough, no, she has to know, say take about the judge to say or no and the master instructions now. I believe the judge should say as seminal and ho. Anka judge Nibeka Chere Attorney General say and you file a case never against this take. If you say nipa na who are targeting is the wrong target. The person who said he committed that supposed crime, he's here saying I did it. So why don't you go and do what? Reconsider your case and file a new one, because at the end of the day, they were all government officials. The guy said Tekwe is not dead. The money we are trying to get from Atoforsin, we can get the same money from Tekwe. But as usual, this judge, we hold her in high esteem. She's sitting there for justice to prevail. No, she did not say anything. Even though till date, the judge knows Atoforsin did not take the decision by Onwangasane will. He was instructed by Setekwe. From Setekwe Ankasa Enumasem. We are not being emotional here. We are not targeting people. We are speaking the bare facts. When you now see, still judge and say, still assembling koso. And until they hear a post the problem in this case is the judge. It is a kofo any Tsikata case, the problem in the case was the judge. Because a judge now man hokwanya Jogate now Attorney General, he couldn't have jailed Tsikata. Never. But because the judge decided to connive with Kofo and Jogate, that is how she was able to jail Tsikata, even though she knew she was doing the wrong thing. Today, what we are seeing today, say judge no man hokwanya and no end to me amasa judge we a jail at forcing. So who is the problem? The problem is not the Attorney General, because the Attorney General at the end of the day or when the case judge unless it's a judge is working with the Attorney General behind the scenes to make sure say Ato Forcing is jailed. The same replica and in 2008 J. Eko for time. Now, yanko enim. So say take about court. Say take about abechirim. So me man instructions. Still no. So when your finance minister boss, I want to me I'm sad seal no can ho e man ye. Judge ni says still Attorney General case. That day said Tekpe Echo Court the case should have ended. Say judge we, with all due respect, if she was going to be transparent, just and truthful, that day the judge should have told Attorney General to refile his case and target said Tekpe. But the judge said no. The Attorney General still has a case. What is the Attorney General looking for? Attorney General is chasing the person who committed a crime. The man who was in charge said, I did it. I gave the instructions. Why is the Attorney General still going after Atoforsin? It is deliberate. It is part of the NPP plan. Debiano, when they are leaving power, they need to use the law against someone. And they always get a woman judge to do that job for them. Now, young queen, Inti Judge Sawada Hutia Kunyum. And I said, take a buyer and Okoye said, take me. So after Setekwe left, and I feel better say the third accused, Richard Jakpa, Eba Bontini Beka say, case ni kosi ni nyina Attorney General Godfrey Damia Oye Ghana a buying lawyer penyin no, any ni din komo behind the scenes. One, say take a crampa baba because on the ma to force instructions. Emma wo judge no what you still said you've not heard it. And no crampa was supposed to end the case. The judge said case should still go on. And secondly, an accused person about Bontine with an audio to tell the same judge say, the Attorney General he has been talking to me. It does not matter whether I approached him first or he approached me, but as the Attorney General of the Republic of Ghana, he knows the ethics of his job. Say, approach he knows the lines of his job. It could be that I'm desperate, but what about him? Doesn't he know that the law does not allow him to have a communication with me? This judge, Madam Sewa, at the end of the day, received an audio recording between the third accused and Godfrey Dame, who is the Attorney General. This woman went home and came back to court. And in that audio, the Attorney General was talking to the accused person he was prosecuting and telling the accused person to go and get fake doctor's report to come and lie to Judge Sewa's court. Who was the accused, who was going to lie to who? The Attorney General was telling the accused to go and get a fake doctor's report and present in court. That alone, forget about the communities that was with it. We are talking about the Attorney General. We are not talking about the third Attorney General or the deputy. We are talking about the creme de la creme, the Attorney General, meaning the Holy Grail of Ghana law. He knows the rules and regulations that governs Ghana Emra. The judge went home and listened to the audio the third accused produced in court. She came back to court and said, the audio she listened to it like 10 times. And that, BBM free Attorney General knew. So one, she has admitted, say, on the tape, there was a conversation between the third accused and the prosecutor, who is Godfrey Dame, the Attorney General. So that alone, for a judge to recognize, say, the Attorney General was speaking to an accused he was prosecuted in court. For that alone, a rational, honest, transparent judge will tell the Attorney General that this case is tainted. Judge Okanokure, and a judge ye using for political power. That judge will stop the case right there and say, you know what? The first one, Setekwe came to say it is not even a forcing. It was him. I made it slide. Secondly, now you are caught on tape talking to the accused, telling the accused to lie to me in court, to deceive the Republic of Ghana. The judge should have stopped the case and tell the Attorney General to file a nolle prosequi. But what did the judge say? The judge said even though she had the Attorney General on tape, conniving, convincing, plotting and planning, deceiving the Republic of Ghana and the law and the court, she said, as far as she did not hear the Attorney General speak clearly that the accused should go and commit a crime, she does not want to take this matter serious. This is a judge in Ghana sitting on a high-profile political case. This is a criminal case. Now, the judge tells the accused that the accused should go and bring all the evidence he has. So, answer the judge because accused, so I will tape not by me 10 times, the judge is admitting, say, what say the Attorney General now, the original court, prosecutor at third accused, is speaking. He has broken the law because the judge did not tell us to say the Attorney General wasn't the one speaking on the audio. She has admitted that the Attorney General was the one caught on the audio. So I drive a car. Now, uti free. Now say car ne ko. Now halfway. Munim say car ne do baby a break and a madian a maka ni jina. Now o check it. Now say break ni wa. You know automatically you are going to die. Say utie audio. Now ujitum. say Attorney General Godfrey Dame na wo audio no so abra wonim emra na ebo de court ho ban ene Ghana law ho ban na automatically the Attorney General breaks na has come off. You stop the case, you tell the man to reposition the case. But the judge did not do that. Or say the accused momuno enko for more evidence mbre no na tape no wagiatum. The moment I begin sa tape na tum no na wagiatum o court say Attorney General ebu mraso. Tie. The moment I would judge obe admit a tape say it is part of that case, no, then you are admitting the voices on it. And the voices on it was the accused and the Attorney General. Now, the voices alone, if it was even just the two of them just talking for a second, and that conversation is got to do with the case in front of you, you stop it right there. Now, if you want to even be more biased, some person we are more corrupt, more jandam, or person we are more political, you can still say it's a case in Nkoso. So person Ghana from who say oh you're corrupt judge, and in this case I'm not saying you are corrupt. I am making a case. Some person Ghana from who say oh you're transparent judge and you are not being used like Henrietta Abana. You will at least tell the Attorney General to mount the witness box, to answer from you the judge, not even the accused lawyer, from you the judge, and the oath. Say the tape that you are admitting in court, was it him speaking with the accused person? Because before you add that to the court document, before you add that to court proceedings, records, because in your judgment, everything you admit, it should form part of your judgment. So for you to give an encouragement to the people you are serving, no, and the intelligent ones watching you, no, you at least have to put the Attorney General in the box under oath and say, I am admitting this audio. But before I admit this audio, I want to ask you under oath, is this your voice on this audio? So that when I'm writing my judgment, I can infuse it. Because if you, the judge, refuse to put the Attorney General in the box to confirm that his voice is on that tape, you can write your judgment without including the evidence on the tape. Because at this point, you have just accepted it, the evidence. But you have not, at the end of the day, officially included it in the court proceedings. So you did that. Now the strategy here, Judge Nifan say, he is just doing that to stop the pressure outside. Because the reason why Attorney General Ambe Jinada came to do what? To confirm the tape, whether it is voice or not. And they say she wants to write her judgment without adding this tape evidence into it. Because the moment Attorney General Babacha came, Ajatum say and the voice, no, it should be part of her judgment. And she cannot write a judgment with the Attorney General being implicated as then committing a crime and still wanting the case to go in his favor. So what the judge is doing right now is he's basically playing this card of Maji tape, no, but tape, no, at this point, no, it does not have any value on my judgment. Now, so this is what happened. The judge did not put the Attorney General in the box. So as we speak today, it could be said the tape the judge has admitted, it is not Attorney General's voice. But we are all sitting here saying that it is voice. So at the end of the day, you are making us think, say, Attorney General Debunking abra ondi. It is only when he enters the box and the bema ye nyina wo judge ne ehu say it was Godfrey Dame speaking to the accused behind his lawyer and you. But why is that so difficult for this judge to do? It is difficult for her to do because she has already written her judgment. The same way as J.A. Kufuor, the Jogati, Ekufuor Adomo, Emma Henrietta Aban, actually the judgment even before Chachu entered court. This judge, to me, from my experience and from what I have followed in journalism, she has already written her judgment. When she accepts this tape and put Godfrey Dame under oath, her judgment will be tainted. She cannot read her judgment. Into all that is happening in court, a technical strategy. While accepting case, tape, no, but she will not infuse that in her judgment. Because the moment Attorney General will accept to say, it is my voice, we are not telling the judge to interrogate the Attorney General. We are telling the judge to just let Attorney General Godfrey Dame swear an oath and say yes or no and get out of the box. She's not going to do it, because the moment she does that, the moment Attorney General says it is my voice, what happens is that Attorney General now becomes a witness. And he has to answer questions. And then the agenda now, it will not work. Make sure say J.A. Kufuor, Jogate Kufuor, the plan, and they are cutting out the due process. But when you're smart, into who say due process is being cut out. They are making you think they are being fair. And especially this judge is making you think she's being fair. She is not. She is cutting out due process so that it will be easy for her to write a judgment to jail her to force. Now, Yatiana Afei, you say it is time for Aya Godfrey Dame to come and interrogate the third accused, who is Jakpa. Now, since the case we started here, Attorney General Godfrey Dame na so every single day. I interrogate and I cross-examine every accused person. He has never allowed anyone from day one. Suddenly or shockingly, Godfrey Dame, the last time the judge, instead of the judge to stop the case, the judge rather was advising Godfrey Dame. Advice, you can decide to ignore, you can decide to take. Godfrey Dame came out of court and said, it's a case way on one be DNM. Judge netunufo and so on tie. Now, every time I was say you cross-examine Jakpa, and it is the Attorney General Godfrey Dame who is supposed to do that. The first court and the second court, Godfrey Dame ama. While ma or say a state prosecutor, while man the deputy impone by you, or say state prosecutor, or a buying prosecutor, no, or a civil servant, no, or no moment na Embrambe represented the whole Attorney General's office. The case was started by the Attorney General and it was led by the Attorney General himself. Suddenly, the Attorney General is not willing to meet or face Jakpa one-on-one in court to cross-examine Jakpa. Godfrey Dame is saying so about Krodon. The Godfrey Dame na, or see he has a case. Jakpa is a criminal. He has been able to gather enough evidence. That is why he has led this case from day one. No? Suddenly, Godfrey Dame does not want to engage Jakpa, who is an accused in a box in the same judge's court. Fine. There are so many ways to kill a cat. Or see, right now, no, or the power no Ediama state prosecutor. Any deputy attorney general say, Omo na sebio, Omo and cross-examine Jakpa. The reason why Godfrey Dame MPC obe cross-examine Jakpa and say, it will be a direct statement to him. Because at the end of the day, say Godfrey Dame ebusa Jakpa say, Mr. Jakpa, at this point, can you prove to me that you are not guilty? Jakpa can say that, Godfrey Dame, you, the Attorney General, you met me on this day, at this time, at this location, and told me to lie so that Atofosi will be jailed. What will Godfrey Dame do? Is the judge going to say overruled? It needs to go into the records. He has to answer. Now, because Godfrey Dame knows the crime he has committed, and he knows that that witness, that accused, was going to basically reciprocate or going to send back the questions to him, no, he has decided to avoid it. And I think what I am seeing here, and I say, Godfrey Dame, any judge, any the presidency, they are using the same playbook as J.A. Kufuor AUZ against Tsikata. Now, in court today, Godfrey Dame came to court, but he decided not to cross-examine Jakpa. Why? Godfrey Dame is not sick. Godfrey Dame said in public, even though the judge has advised him to step away from the case and go to the General Legal Counsel for discipline. He is not going to heed or listen to the judge's advice, and that he is going to lead the case. Shockingly, today, for some reason, Godfrey Dame by court and you no and a cross-examine Jakpa. Now let's go and hear or read what actually transpired in court. Make sure. We want Ghanaians to understand what these people are doing to you. Now in court, this is what transpired. You know, say court all because you say people are causing financial loss to the state. Ato forcing Jakpamo. Ato force the secret and of sign here. Into NPP aban ekufu the DNM Godfrey Dame DNM no. Almost say we need to jail him. 2.3 million euros. No campaign here friend big C no. Campaign they say your money is sitting here, Boga. You people should take your money and give us our ambulance. The judge, Madam Sewa, knows about this. She says she doesn't care. See, when you read Ghana's law, causing financial loss to the state, it means a lot of things. Mr. Pull that one for me now. You say causing financial loss to the state. O de batwi mu a, you say ato force ne Jakpamo, oma fakulti kwan bi so ma Ghana aboka. E kasa ne abo 2.3 million euros. Nipa na e fa omo so me aboka no. You say ato force mu akowia de, oma akowia. Sorry, omo say ato force mu ebusua japade, oma tam akoton. Tie. Oma tam ebusua sika. Akoto taxi. One Jakpa. And the busia trase. And you say, ato force mo. Eye ka na mokoton ma hwan. Ina so moton ma Kevin Taylor. And I say ni ato force mo de busia bone. Maye bone. Enti mo no ye betwe maso. And ato force emo say bone be ne aye. Nipa ya ye de yakoton eye ade mani. Nipa ne se sika no wo ho. Nipa ne se ye meje ade. Den na se sia nipa ne se magisika na ebusuafo se yempe na atofo se na de betwe na so na che say means say ebi atofo se na je obi yiri we busuanim. Now uhwe Godfrey Dame issue ya making ya eti say ohene bi ti krom ma menya is basic mawo na ohene no abodwa na abodwa say ekrom ho obi wie anyoma wo krom ho yeti krom eno ohina bodwa ochia metia ohima tia odi kurotia edi endian ebusuafo nyina tia eno ohina bodwa eno ohene ne se sia ekuro na etimu no eye obi abokro no okrom ha na nipa obokro no ye fre no Kwame Ata me na Kwame Ata ye chi Kwame Ata begina hemfie no ena Kwame Ata ka se enkoko na mewia no na chia me ye because yet na himfie na ye ka asema enye ohene ne kasa ohene kasa fa chia me mu enti in this case na chia me ene Godfrey Dame ena sebio nipa na so obawo kro no ese ede atoforsen ene ye de nipa na so akochi akokọ no ede na begina kọ ahimfie ena nipa na akochi akokọ no yeso on na akochi akokọ no se nana mosema chimi amate na nipa ye friend ochia me de bia na dwu bia o ne me na di nkomo kire me senia nipa enkokọ wo mo buom tie atofo sene ye dodo ena osenana mosema cheme mate nipa de bia anadwu bia ofre me ba ne fie na okire me ekrom ha omo a omo nkokoto nkosua eye ochia me ya me ba begina himfie ya obetoto manun de na wo se ohene ne ye de wo se ohene ne ya ne se and ohene at this point is the judge se ohene ne penokore a de wo se ohene ne ya ne se obefro ochia me na chia me bra je afna we ne dinsie na meyanti asese asem na atofo sene ka to so no eye no kore ananye no kore ansa na yato aso ade achi ne esa ba himfia na chia me so wa ba no wonkasa na chia me eye Godfrey Dame no nana je wo se nana se nana na otewo no se onye kromfo se opese pepeyo opese asem no hu dawa nana beka se me chia me eye atofo sene se enkoko na yesi wa kowia no de bia na dwubia otu fie na mudidi ho nkomo wo na wo kire ne bebia nkoko kosua wo o se wo na se bia wo hye ne tupa e mane kofa nkoko no na ahemfie de ɛyɛ abosom ɛna etwa ho ahyia enti faafena wei na di nsie na yi atofos na asɛm na no sɛ deɛ ɔka no ɛyɛ nokore anyansa nyɛ nokore ɔhene bi a ɔyɛ correct ɔka nokore bi a ɔpɛ nokore no saa na ɔbɛka kyerɛ Chiame ɔkyerɛ ne sɛ sesia no asɛm na nana ka a wɔsɔ ɔno kyerɛkyerɛ no ɔnyɛ biem wakɔfra ahenkwaa sɛ ahenkwaa mbɛyɛ na ɔne deɛ wɔn awom asɛm no kɔ so no ɔkyerɛ ne da ho te wɔ ahenkwaa no ɛtoto atofo sɛ na ɔkyerɛ na wɔka bibie gu ahenkwaa no so na nana ne te wɔ ɔdi problem and this is what is happening in the courtroom ɔhene no ɛna judge no ɔkyerɛ ne ɛne gofredame ahenkwaa na yakɔfo na ba no ɛna state attorney no and the state attorney ne ɛtoto ɛyɛ de jakpa ano a na ɛyɛ ɔkyerɛ na ɛse ɔno na ɛne atofosen two points we kyerɛ mo kɔ wi akokɔ no ɔkyerɛ ne sɛ ɔno de asɛm no ɔnka bi ɔmɛsoɛ na ɔmɛka no kura na ɔkyerɛ sɛ ɔnyɛ ɔhene no so sɛ ɔma ɔkyerɛ pressure and it means say ɔhene no ama ɔkyerɛ no ambedi ntam ambɛka sɛ asɛm no atofosen ka no to so no ɛno kura na sɛ nyɛ no kura na sɛ ɔhene so kɔ sua no ɔwia bi ɔhene no so yɛ krɔmfoɔ na sɛ ɔhene no onim deɛ ɛkɔ so because ɛkyerɛ sɛ ɔkyerɛ no sɛ atofosen kɔfa nkokɔ no ba ɔde nkokɔ kɔsua de bi kɔma nana ɛni kyerɛ nana mpɛ sɛ ɔkyerɛ no ɛbɛgye afena no asoɛ sɛ ɔdi ntam ɛnokora na sɛ nyɛ nokorɛ that is what is transpiring in our courtroom today the judge refusing to let Attorney General swear an oath to clear himself shows that judge at the end of the day is partnering the Attorney General behind the scenes. That is how I make out of this. And I am not against anybody. We are all brainstorming on this thing. Anytime a whole scenario. Then the assembly siwa court. Again is siwa court. Mumi njujum. Mr. P. You have anything for me? Oh, you're talking about the it's not even necessary now. Now, this is what happened in court today. An ambulance in your court. Big C for some metia. Yamfa ya ambulance mromo no mo fa yisika mai eno ano no. Setekwa abase e ono na ma to force instructions. Jakpa ono oye agent. Die ye nyina o court be 2 years a yes say Ghana sika de bia yetua nkofo kan nyina say ye sika ahye causing financial loss to the state. Inti ye sika ahye a ye pe kwan so e ma yensa ka sika. Big C for so aka cha Attorney General say mo ambulance no mo fambre ye na mo ngi musika ye hia musika mpobium Attorney General so mpe judge oto. So the question I'm asking is say what are we looking for e dey na ye pe what are we looking for? Are we going to jail at forcing and later go and tell Big C say omuntie sika no na ombefa ambulance nana? What are we looking for? Because it is causing financial loss to the state and we are trying to retrieve that loss. And the loss is sitting there. But we say we are not taking the loss. We are still going to go after forcing. Why? Anka ended the Anka Miashaw say you were court no anka ambulance once a man the best start. Mo head you see court at forcing a jakpa and the not adakim. Attorney General Gofredame at court on kasa. Okuta pen and paper. And I was smart state attorney say onumo mo court to jakpa no. Na de na one say Attorney General to otro in some krata so na odiama edien state attorney say omusa sa question no. This is what happened in court today. Gofredame eme take oath so onye. Ena oti courtroom. Ena okuta krata ene paper. Ena osi state attorney en cross examine jakpa. Enti okasa no afre no na watwere krata so ose je busasa de we. Who is cross examining jakpa? It's not Attorney General Gofredame. But because the judge on pese Gofredame edi boni e be huninti, she was fine with this. Now, Momianko, see how they started the case. And they did something very interesting and funny. That is why I say, the judge is basically the technical advisor to the Attorney General. I'm telling you. That is what I see. I see, say, Judge Sewa is the technical advisor to the Attorney General. Because all that is happening in court, it has been planned. Because On a normal day, that is not how court proceedings should go on. The first thing they tried to do was to do what? So this is a report from Joy News. Time and no. Almost says state cross examines Jakpa in ambulance procurement trial. Joy for reporter the say Attorney General Godfrey Dame just passed another note of questions to the Director of Public Prosecution to ask Jakpa. Into akwa we not to courtroom judge nehuno. And okutam papers and or questions no amwa no the ma prosecutors ebusano. But on one kasa pass obeba be jira Jakpa enim ebusano question no judge ne se me manenye. Anytime I say the judge is the technical advisor to Attorney General. So when Attorney General is sitting in court and writing on notes and passing on to a prosecutor, it means the Attorney General is the one indirectly questioning Jakpa. Why is he refusing to stand before Jakpa? It is because when he stands before Jakpa, Jakpa will insist that he takes an oath to answer the question because it's a direct answer he's going to give him. Because oneno and a tenase and a kasaye. But the judge knows, and the judge does not want that to happen. Into behind the scenes, the technical advisor who is the judge is telling Attorney General, do not confront Jakpa. Because in the first place, tape na imagine I'm supposed to let you enter a box to admit to say your voice or it is not your voice. That alone, I have broken the law. But I am trying to push that through because in any serious court, the judge is supposed to question the Attorney General whether it was his voice on the tape or not. It is not about the judge's submission on the tape. It is about the authentication of the voices on the tape. In Tinanko said judge, the first thing he was supposed to do was to call the Attorney General and say, is that your voice under oath? If he denies, then we move on. If he says yes, then you still add it to it. But for a reason, the judge decided to move away from that route. Because the moment he moves Attorney General into a box for him to admit, say it is his voice on court records, it means she will have to add the audio to her judgment. She doesn't want to do it because the judgment has already been prepared. See, omonomo bo fixed match. Mr. Judge, or the Attorney General or your Attorney General and a technical advisor. Somebody is saying, Mr. Kevin, can't Jakpa ask the judge to let the Godfrey Dame take an oath? They have asked the judge. The judge says nothing. Judge is on yet. Jakpa lawyers, I catch the judge and say, Mama Attorney General MS swear oath. Now on answer question. Judge and say on yet. Now, so this was what was happening this morning in court. Now, almost 30 cases, almost to Jakpa, no. They had an agenda, and that agenda was that discredit the accused person. Now, my mention mo adiebi or law. My mention mo adiebi in law. What prosecutors do majority of the time when they don't have a case, and let me tell you this: adia prosecutors see here around the world when they don't have a case, or we need enough evidence to prosecute her. What they first do is say they try to discredit the accused. Now, how do you discredit an accused? If we are saying Obia on the past, if we are saying Obia was something they've done. Now, what prosecutors do, especially when they are corrupt and they want to taint a case or they want to skew the process, the first thing they do, because their case is weak, they try to discredit the accused before they start to ask their weak questions. Now, uye nipa, mamika bincho. Anytime they be a catcher say, President, nipa otunufo ansana wakoda yire, because the wife is the last person that speaks to the man before he goes to bed. And if the wife is canon, oba oye nipa bonini no, or no ene say eye bema adwene. And in the majority of the time, no, say bema ware, na say ebi aware no gu. Now, so okofa obafu fra. Majority of the time, the stepchildren, no, they don't get enough from the family because at the end of the day, no matter how good akorane yet to papa no, maamena or any stepmother and papa ne koda. The final word na akorane beka maamena beka to papa ni trim no, and then in the morning it activates. Into what Godfrey Dame and the Attorney General and the non person from the beginning, they say they first wanted to discredit the Jakpa. Now, when they discredit Jakpa, to go back and say, oh, why a mistake Sibiwa Abraboma, it means automatically Ghanaians, we will have to condemn Jakpa before we listen to Jakpa. What did they make? Into the strategy of Godfrey Dame and the mobile court and say, first, discredit the accused. When you discredit the accused in the eyes of the judge, then you can ask your weak questions. The moment you are discredited, who defending who saying Buma and ye, et say ya show say we or malakta. Yede tai ashaw ho yebe show. No matter what you say, it will not make sense to anybody. And say obi aden abodam wa recover or catch or say na adwumun kan bi. It is tough for the sane person to believe. And that is the strategy, the psychological player, Attorney General, any judge, the technical director, that is what they played in court today. To discredit the accused before they question the accused. Because the relevant questions now, it is connected to the case, the Attorney General's questions are weak. They are not strong. Oko any court, that's Attorney General, it was strong evidence. On somebody Donald Trump, Echo General Court, and saying, New York, the Attorney General, when he came, he did not come to discredit Donald Trump. He came with his questions to pose it because they believed every question they were asking Donald Trump, they already have answers that are legitimate, factual, evidence-based. So they did not have to discredit him. It was the answer of the accused Donald Trump, and never discrediting him. So when you see the New York Attorney General, when he went into the case, they did not go around to go and discredit Donald Trump 2012, we say, and they were sticking to the case, and the questions were directly from the case. But now, because Attorney General they know they don't have a substantive case with enough evidence to prosecute the accused 1 and 2, they resorted to discredit before you come in with your weak answers. When they entered court today, the first thing they did, this is the first thing they did in court. I was honorably released and not dismissed from the army. Richard Jakpa pushed back on the prosecution claim he was dismissed. Into almost started to turn and say, oh, Jakpa, so ya pamon. Does it relate to the case we are talking about here? Their first question, almost started so mubusa Jakpa and say, Jakpa na uwo so jemuno ya pamon, and Jakpa say ya pamon me. Into what they tried to do from the start was to discredit him for people to see, say, Jakpa Krampono sa on your law abiding. Oh, Jakpa Krano or was some bad record. Oh, Jakpa Krampono or a nipebia or a hooligan or Nimraso or Koso Jamunu Krampono na Omuadie. So this is where a weak Attorney General who has a weak case, that is how they built their case. Until they started the case, the cross-examination from when Jakpa was in the military, the Ghana military, because the strategy is they wanted people to know his background. And you see, Jakpa, nane papa ya NDC ni. Jakpa, nane papa, at the end of the day, omo mukoyi JJ Rawlings every prison, nane papa kahu. Ne papa ya ex-military man. Jakpa eko Ghana military muno, he carried that load on him because obiatia wona papa kan eye omo mukoyi Rawlings ho. Some people might like you, some people too might hate you, especially people who were appointed into the military from a political point. Ebia, Obuoha, Wabe Penyini, he was appointed by an NPP regime. Automatically, they will not like you. Inti Jakpa carried a load. Now, what they tried to do was they wanted the people to know, say, oh, Jakpa or your NDC, they were doing politics. Ne papa used to be a military. Jakpa so no military mu, na se bi onimra so. Inti from his past conduct, he is not credible. Every answer he will give us, Menjindi. Yam cannot just say. Into what they are doing now is they are basically destroying the guy to you first before they pose their weak questions. Into they were preparing the brains of Ghanaians. Law, it's all about psychology. They want to prepare the minds of Ghanaians. A circle, a political circle. They want to create that idea. Say Jakpa ye NDC ni, ne papa no ye NDC ni. Jakpa no wo a military ni krampo no nimra so. Until he cannot be credible today. Now you get it, yeah. Until this is how they started their questions, because they want to politicize the case more. Because they know, say they have the base, NPP for no, they need to give them something to go on TV. Because on Saturday, on Metna TV, the Americans say they are going to concentrate more on Jakpa's past than the relevant issues. Because Jakpa, Okosoja, Wankosoja, I don't give a heck about that. Jakpa, ni papa, Okoyi rolling, so I don't give a heck about that. What I care about is Jakpa in court today about the ambulance. That is what I care about. So when I'm listening to the Attorney General and asking Jakpa about his past in the military, that Attorney General is foolish. He doesn't have enough evidence to prosecute. Now, after that, they moved on to another question. Ambulance once I copy military. State cross-examine Jakpa. Question Busano. Jakpa answer. Apart from your unsatisfactory conduct that led to your sack, you also failed to pass your exams. After Attorney General say, say, o pass record in yanti a pamu free sojem, and now one sound passing exams be sojem. What has this got to do with the case? It has no bearing on this case. It has no bearing. Say Jakpa FLE what military ni exams are. I don't care because I'm looking at the case, the relevant case on my lap today. Say Jakpa FLE exams when he was a military man, I don't care. Whether he had the bad past in the military, I don't care. Now what they are doing is character assassination. First of all, omo person almost saying a chile Ghana for and sign behind the scenes, no, omo weak questions, no. Because if they come in with their weak questions, Jakpa will slice it into pieces. Now, what do you have again? Right now, what they will be doing from tomorrow, omo media houses, no, they'll be concentrating more on Jakpa's past than the relevant issue on the table. The relevant issue on the table is financial loss to the state, and it's got to do with the ambulance. So why are we not delving deep into that? Rather, asking or telling people about the past of Jakpa. I don't give a fuck about Jakpa's past. What I give a fuck about now as a Ghanaian is what we are talking about in court. But the judge was sitting there and she was nodding. Any serious court judge will say this is not relevant to the case. Move to another question. But this judge, she was sitting there and smiling because that is what they want to do. You get it? Because the judge could have asked the prosecutor, how relevant is this to the case? A serious judge who is not corrupt, who really wants judgment na just, obiabe will say, we a very important case, or say, you didn't hear, no. The judge will stop the prosecutor and say, prosecutor, asking about his time in the military has got nothing to do with what we are talking about. Asking him about his father and whether he passed an exams in the military, it's got nothing. It has no bearing on this case. Into Judge Papa Bia on your technical advisor to the Attorney General will stop the prosecutor and say, no, these are not important questions. Override. Go on another question. But the judge was sitting there because it is something they have planned. The guy is too strong. The guy is too intelligent. Do what we say, character assassination. Destroy his character first. People will talk about his character than the case itself. From Ochina Kono, what you will hear and they say, they will be discussing Jakpa, ne papa, time he was in the military, then exams of a tray, and the relevant matter, no, they will ignore it. And that is how the judge will maneuver her way and write a judgment. We need to be serious in this country. This is a criminal matter. This is not a child's play. This is serious. We are not supposed to play around these things and make it look like we are in a jungle. People's lives are at stake here. Now, still, under interrogation, another question. They were asking him more. They spent about 2 hours on when he was in the military. 2 hours of the taxpayers' money. Godfrey Dame was writing questions and giving to the woman. And all the questions that she was asking Jakpa, or they were asking Jakpa, was irrelevant to the matter. But the judge did not have a problem with it. Now, I won the marksmanship and skill at the Arms Award for the whole of my intake. Now, the question they were asking him was all about when you were in the military, you were a bad person. That's what they want to say. Godfrey Dame, any officer, character assassination is what they did today in court. They wanted to destroy who the man is before they ask their weak questions. And the judge knows. Let me tell you, judge be always serious. Be on pair. Say because stop beside you one time. Say, hey, you can't waste my time. You are the prosecutor. You have had over a year in court. You should be able to go direct to this case. Ask your relevant questions. What you are asking has got nothing to do with this case. Whether this guy went to the military or not, we don't care. We are looking at the money. We are looking at the people who committed a crime. Do you have enough evidence to prosecute? Questions you be asking should be relevant to this matter. And the judge sits there for almost 2 hours and be nodding because they have connived. Right now, they don't have enough to prosecute. But what they can do is they can prosecute the character of the people and hide behind that to jail them. That is what they are doing. It is the J.A. Kufuor strategy. Now, they went on. You sent the AG. Now, after they distracted the system and put out the headlines, because, strategically, the ones that they said about Jakpa or questioned him on about his military history, that is the headlines they wanted. After they got their headlines, now they started asking their weak questions. At that moment, everybody is exhausted. Let me tell you something. Your statistics is fresher. Majority of the journalists and everybody there, we are sharp. Everybody is fresh. About 2 hours time sitting on your ass and listening to people talk back and forth. After 2 hours, your interest in the case and your level of their concentration drops. The rapt attention you had from the beginning automatically goes down. Your interest in following the case abruptly, following the details, it drops. Everyone in the courtroom, your attachment and excitement drops after an hour or two. Now, they used about 2 hours to exhaust the brain of the people there. Now, after they realized that the brains have been exhausted, among four are not in there too much again, now they went to the case itself. Anytime I just say it's psychological. What they were doing in court, they planned it. The reason why I say the judge knows about it, and then they say all the questions they started asking for the first 2 hours, she could have stopped it and said, hey, this has got nothing to do with the case. But she nodded. She said yes, because she knows the Attorney General has no facts. His questions, his real questions are weak. Yeah. Now they jump to this. Jakpa in ambulance procurement trial says, you sent the AG, Godfrey Dame, 68 messages on WhatsApp and he responded to only 2. Prosecution to Jakpa. Almost say, Afe, Attorney General prosecutor and say, Jakpa, o send 68 messages. Ekoma Godfrey Dame. And a Godfrey Dame responded with 2. Inti prosecutor and person say, Jakpa and kano kre. I can send you 56 documents. 56 different documents. I can send you about 60 documents, pages of court documents. It will be counted as messages. And then the next 2-3 messages, I'll text you. Now, whether the AG responded to 1 or responded to 2, the Attorney General knew he was talking to. So it does not come in here, whether it was 1 message, 2 messages, or 10 messages. The Attorney General knew who he was talking to, and he knew that he was talking to somebody he was prosecuting, and it was against the law for him to respond. So the moment Attorney General gets even a text message that, hi, and Attorney General says, hi, and then the person says, I am Kevin, Attorney General stops there. You don't move on. You don't even write anything. The next day when you come to court, you show that to the court and say, yesterday, I was there when I received some kind of message. I didn't know who he was. The person said hi. I said hi back. The person introduced himself as this. I stopped talking. Mr. Judge, Madam Judge, this is my evidence. Then the judge will take decision. You are trying to influence the Attorney General. Now, when the Attorney General keeps on going on and start texting you back, then it means he knows what he's doing. So, for the Attorney General responding to 3 or whatever, the number of responses from the Attorney General does not matter. It's about the consent. Did he know who he was texting back? Did the Attorney General know who he was talking to? Unless the Attorney General wants to tell us he never knew the person he was talking to. He did not have an idea of who he was replying. If somebody sends you 200 messages, and you respond to the message, it's a dialogue. Your first message can be taken as you didn't know, or you not knowing the person. The moment you follow it up with another message, you know the person. So that is not an excuse. Just saying that because he sent 68 messages and you responded with 3, he can send 68 documents. After you read the document, you respond to the document. So does it mean that you did not have a conversation with the person? So it takes only a weak-minded Attorney General and a judge who has already written her judgment to allow this nonsense to happen in court. Now, they moved on. The WhatsApp conversation was between Attorney General Dame and myself. He is at liberty to bring other portions that he feels would discredit what I have put here. Inti Jakpa went ahead to say, the conversation that I have provided as evidence, it was a conversation between myself and Godfrey Dame, the Attorney General. If he feels that he has other chats between the two of us that makes his case better, he is at liberty to provide it to the court. At this point, why is the judge still sitting and not calling Attorney General to take an oath to tell us whether these things this man is saying is true? Because basically what we are talking about here is Godfrey Dame committing a crime. This is a criminal case. Nipa na ojana kamune say, sa mo prosecutor we me say WhatsApp messages no dear onne me edin komo na me de abra court no. Say o see our conversation me try to no so a onfambra. The accused is opening up a lot of opportunities for the prosecutor. To do what? To clear himself. To prove to Ghanaians that he, the prosecutor, is not a thief. He's not a criminal. He does not negotiate behind the scenes. This guy is giving Godfrey Dame a fair hearing. He is making the judge's job easy. Through this, he is telling the judge, let the man come and deny. And that when he comes, whatever evidence he has against me, he can produce it. Why is Judge Sewa not worried? Why is Judge Sewa not telling Attorney General to come into the box? This same Attorney General you are talking about is not in Dubai. He was sitting in that court and he was writing questions for the state prosecutor to ask Jakpa. Ye Jimmy yana. Ye mwa. Ye krone timno. Ye nimu nyansa biem. Ye shisha mrechi. Ye shisha politics echi. Now hear this. Almost Abusa Jakpa. And an answer say, my cousin who was on a bench asked for permission and went to AG in his robes and spoke with him for me to be discharged after meeting my bail conditions. My cousin made me speak with the Attorney General on his phone when I was at the police station. Jakpa say, time yachi mi tu ma court kasi en fami nkotum. Eya miankasa me cousin Yoni Kulendi owo Supreme Court na oye djuma wo Ekufuado law firm Ekufuado appointing it to the Supreme Court. Me cousin ono ena di that time na oti case so Supreme Court o shed red Emma o excuse no ho sorry ekofre Godfrey Dame ka kire ne say me Jakpa me da police cells na me meeting me bail into on making sure say ye me Emma Godfrey Dame Emma mene Godfrey Dame ekasa wo me cousin Supreme Court judge phone so e die biem na judge we pay. This is an Attorney General who is conniving with Supreme Court judges to make sure people are granted bail. This is an Attorney General who is still alive and still sitting in the courtroom. This is a Supreme Court judge, Yoni Kulendi, who is still alive. The judge is ignoring all these green lights or red lights, whatever you want to call it. This case, and Tsikata case, difference anymore. One of these days, Atofos will go to court, he will not come back home. Ekufuado is playing Kofo's blue book, the same. That's Ekufuado Ekufo Attorney General. So what he is doing, it is not different from Tsikata. And I keep saying, the judge is the problem. Hey, case when the biggest problem is Judge Sewa. The NPP government is using the judge. Don't look anywhere. Godfrey Dame, don't look at Godfrey Dame. It is the judge. It is the judge that they are using. This testimony alone in court shows that the case is tainted. Why are we still here? So right now, the judge wants to tell us, say, Assembia it cannot be contested. Nobody should contest it. Then how is she going to write a judgment? Because we don't know whether Jakpa is lying under oath. And the people that he is mentioning in this high-profile criminal cases are still sitting in court with you. So if the judge refuses to even bring these people to speak, to whether to confirm whether Jakpa is saying the truth or not, how is she going to come to a conclusion to write her judgment? That tells you she has already written her judgment. Message judge, if you say, well, she has already written her judgment. Tape nearby, no, she will not include it. Senko so include tape now. And Kobe catch a go for them, so Omrabetan Adakam. No, Musan, one question. Attorney General, is that your voice on the tape? Nanko, they kind of judgment. But the moment she does that, she cannot read this judgment that has been prepared for her. Until she's doing everything possible to prevent Godfrey Dame from engaging Jakpa. And internet and the Enya Godfrey Dame na air cross examine Jakpa. Now see this. The Attorney General made a verbal request at my cousin's house. And so some of the 68 messages were based on the verbal request he made at my cousin's house. I say Godfrey Dame ankasa ena time omushia ewo yoni kulendi fie no. Oka say eye dein eye Jakpa emphasize information in sending on WhatsApp. Attorney General to court. The man we are saying said what Jakpa is saying he said is sitting in court. So what is stopping this judge from making this guy come to the box to deny or admit to what Jakpa is saying? Then it means the judge is the problem, not the Attorney General. Because the Attorney General, no, say judge the judge is creating the room for the Attorney General to commit a crime. That is why the judge is listening to only one side of the story. Let us listen to the other side of the story. That is why you are a judge. You should be just. What is preventing you from opening up the case for all of us to know what actually transpired? Why are you covering half of the case and trying to judge your case on just one aspect of the case? That is not right. That is not just. That is illegal. You are not being fair. We need to we need to be serious for once. 1982, your board judges for team to Shiomo. We need to learn lessons from these things. We need to be open, transparent. We need to let the people understand that they can at least trust us when it comes to transparency. What came on us? DNAC. What is happening to us? Anytime the NPP is in power, they turn judges into murderers. Why? All that Ghanaians are asking for is fair trial. I don't care. Whoever commits a crime should go to jail. It is your job to jail anybody. Why are we not getting a fair trial here? Even people who are not law, people who have not learned law, can see clearly that, Madam Judge, you are being biased. That is it. Where on earth do we listen to only one part of a story and write a judgment? And this is the same thing J.A. Kufuor did to Tsikata. But do you think this time is going to happen and nothing is going to happen? No, don't do that. You people should not put this country on that line. We are basically fighting to retain our democracy. You don't do these things. Now see, this is what Jakpa said in court. are saying, if the Attorney General, Godfrey Dame, is still insisting what I'm saying is not true, he should be put in the box to testify under oath. This accused person said, if Godfrey Dame is sitting there, who is the Attorney General, is still insisting that I am lying, Madam Judge, why don't you put him under oath for him to come and tell us the truth? You get an accused person who is bold enough under oath to say that the person I'm talking about is sitting here. Let him swear, take an oath, and come sit here and say I am lying. The judge sits there and says nothing. Godfrey Dame sits there and writes questions for the prosecutor to ask Jakpa. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Why are we suppressing the law to favor some people? And that is why I keep saying, the biggest problem about this case, the biggest problem, case we the judge. The judge is the problem in this case. I'm telling you, the way Kufuor use Judge Henrietta Abano, the same way Ekufuado, Attorney General Godfrey Dame are using Madam Efia Sewa. It is despicable. Sometimes people say, we don't talk about judges. And I keep saying here on my platform, I can't. Judges are not God. Judges are humans. They have the same intelligence we have. So there's a reason why court in Remo, you will be a friend review. And into appeals court. And into a Supreme Court cry a review. Then it means they're sitting there, they can take a bribe. They're sitting there, they are admitting they can make mistakes. They're sitting there, they are admitting that their emotions, their affiliation, their connection to something can make them call wrong judgment. So they themselves, they know that they are not perfect. So we have the right to question judges when we as a people see that they are basically deviating from the basics of their job. Scrutinizing and questioning a judge does not make you a criminal. Questioning the conduct of a judge does not make you criminal. Questioning the mentality behind judges' actions in court does not make you a criminal. Does not make you look like somebody who has committed a crime against court. We all have the right. I am not sitting here acting as if I don't know that this is a criminal case. I'm also not going to sit here and act like a fool that when a case is being twisted, I wouldn't know. We need to get these things right. See, from infancy, and not from a very long time be seen there. When you come to Ghana, there's one thing there are two trim. Besides, give me a picture. There are two trim say don't question judges in Ghana. When you question judges in Ghana, you are not disrespecting judges. So you are helping the judicial system to be stronger. Come to America today. A Supreme Court judge, one of the Supreme Court judges, he took favors from politicians. Today, he's being scrutinized every single day in the New York Times. They are doing that judge's stories. Are you going to say the people who are talking about these things on radio and TV are disrespecting the court? They are trying to help the judiciary. But we have created something around court in Ghana and judges in Ghana that you cannot question them. And that is what is making some of these judges commit crimes. And no corruption a judiciary because we have forced to create something around judges in Ghana. In Ghana, you cannot question a judge. You cannot question the conduct of a judge. You cannot even question a case that is being tilted. Into Ama judges, they are hiding behind those things and doing damage to people. And this is a clear cut. 2008. People were scared to question Judge Henrietta Aban. Because people failed to question her, she exhibited the highest form of corruption to jail an innocent man. And that is what we are seeing today. Come to America. Clarence Thomas, a Supreme Court judge, today on TV, on radio, people are discussing him, discussing his cases. They are discussing Roe v. Wade case. Judge Wade now, so his judgment. We are discussing him. It does not mean anybody disrespects the court. It does not mean anybody is in contempt of court. Then everything is in contempt of court. Then we are not going to talk about judges in Ghana. This is the time we need to be questioning them. Judges are not demigods. Judges are humans. That's why there's a review. That's why there's an appeals court. They know that they are not perfect. We have caught judges in Ghana who were taking bribes. So the probability of we still having criminal judges, some in Ghana, is high. So we cannot pretend to say ostriches, our heads are in the sand and that nothing is happening. We all know we go to court, we see our judges. Some of them are not fit for the job they are doing. So let us not move away from the basics and the principles that govern this nation. We are sitting here, we don't even want to talk about ills in the society. Godfrey Dame is skewing the system, Ekufuor is skewing the system. They are bending the law to favor people. Now, there's something I want to say. I've been talking about Justice Efia Sewa, right? Now, Justice Efia Sewa also works under the Chief Justice, Madam Gertrude Tokonu. Now, I've heard the so-called legal brains in Ghana talk about what is happening in this case. I have heard those who know grammar than me, those who see themselves as the knowledge when it comes to legal matters in Ghana. I've seen the local champions in legal issues in Ghana, and they are speaking on this case every single day. I would like to ask one simple thing. When the judge received the audio, the third accused and the Attorney General, in the audio, in the court documents, your boy Yoni Kulendi Dean, Attorney General and the third accused, how did this woman take it? How did the Chief Justice take that message? That you're a Chief Justice of Ghana. Yoni Kulendi works with you in the Supreme Court. A high-profile criminal case in court today. Yoni Kulendi has been mentioned that he has been organizing meetings between an accused and the Attorney General who also works under you. Now, I want to ask a simple question. When the Chief Justice heard about this, how did she feel? Did she take this as normal? Did she feel that what has happened, that a Supreme Court judge and the Attorney General caught on tape with an accused and meeting accused at odd hours, what do you think was going through the head of this woman who is the Chief Justice of Ghana? Remember, she appointed this judge on this case. So when I tell you that the judge is the problem, I'm telling you that the Chief Justice is the biggest problem. The principles that bind our legal our legal system, those principles, where are they? Because it's so interesting that a Chief Justice knows that a Supreme Court judge has broken the first law, the cardinal law, when it comes to the judiciary. And the Chief Justice sits and takes no action. The Chief Justice, under her watch, an Attorney General is caught on tape. In the history of the Republic of Ghana, it has never happened that an Attorney General meets an accused in the house of a Supreme Court judge and the Chief Justice sees nothing wrong. You want to tell me that the judge and the judge's boss are not a problem? At this point, the Chief Justice should be talking. The Chief Justice should be making a decision. She should be taking a decision that will change the face of our judiciary. But what do we see? even though the Chief Justice knows that Attorney General has committed a crime, that the Supreme Court judge, Yoni Kulendi, has also committed a crime, the Chief Justice is happy and quiet. So now when I tell you that the judge sitting on the case is a technical director to the Attorney General, do you take me serious on that? Now the same judge who was appointed by the Chief Justice is directing the Attorney General to go to the General Legal Council that is chaired by the Chief Justice to discipline the Attorney General. Listen to me. The judge in say, "Yachi eye Godfredami o tape no so no." Wa refer Godfredami say, "Onko General Legal Council." Now General Legal Council no, eye the Ghana Bar Association president. Ebesin de asebu onka hoshe. He is on the General Legal Council. The Chief Justice who appointed Yoni Kulendi and who the Attorney General works under is the chairman of the General Legal Council. These two people recently were praising the Attorney General in public after knowing vividly that the Attorney General has committed a crime. A judge in the Supreme Court, Yoni Kulendi, has committed a crime. The Chief Justice still went out there with the help of the Ghana Bar Association president to praise the criminal. That is why I tell you that the problem is the judge and the person who appointed the judge. This case, it has been thought through from the Chief Justice to the judge sitting on the case. No Ghanaian can change their mind. The same way Kufuor made it his project to jail Tsikata. We were in this country when we all hate. Now, you see, we don't hate anybody. We try to let people understand, say, a corona a woman. In Penifoni Binom woman, cannot cry. Hey, we were here. Thank you, team, for bringing this in. I really appreciate it. Were we not here, and a Chief Justice, Madam Tokonu, took this decision. What decision was it? Chief Justice dismisses judge for improper relationship with woman in divorce case. Near the case in your court. And a judge, Mami bi ani ejana case in your court, and a judge, and an chimpana. That was not a criminal case, but the Chief Justice took decision. The Chief Justice dismissed the judge. We have caught a Supreme Court judge infiltrating, organizing meetings in a criminal case, not just a criminal case, a high-profile criminal case. His name has been captured in court documents. The Chief Justice is quiet. But somebody went to chase somebody's wife. It wasn't criminal. It wasn't criminal because the woman who was being chased, that woman is not a kid. That woman agreed to the man's what? Agreed to the man's proposal. It was issues about ethics. We are talking about the same thing. A Supreme Court judge, an Attorney General caught on tape in the house of a Supreme Court judge having a meeting with an accused without their lawyer. And the Chief Justice to date has refused to make a statement. So now you know why I say the judge is the problem. I'm not talking about just the judge sitting on the case, but the boss of the judge who is the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana. So for the Chief Justice just to keep quiet, not to react, not to say anything should tell you a lot. The Chief Justice is overseeing a court that is filled with criminal intent. She is not ready to crack the whip for it to be for it to strike left and right. The Chief Justice only goes after people she does not like. What is stopping her from making sure that Judge Yoni Kulendi is dismissed from the Supreme Court? What is stopping her from insisting that the Attorney General, at the end of the day, is suspended or takes an oath? What is stopping the Chief Justice from making a statement on this matter? We were in this country. I'm showing you the reason why I'm telling you. Make sure basis, the reason I'm telling you is that this case has been cooked. And the Chief Justice knows the outcome of this case already. Yeah? We were here. And Ato Forsen, Ebusa said, they want this case to be put on TV live for all of us to watch. Were we not here when Chief Justice allows live coverage of hearing challenging anti-LGBTQ? A Attorney General and the Court Chief Justice was saying, we should put that case on live TV. We all saw it. But Atofo Seboka said they also want a live coverage of this criminal case. The Chief Justice said no. In fact, she's not spoken on it. She has not even attended to it. Now you see where the biasness is from. This Atuforsin's case, if you think it's just the NPP government, then you are making a big mistake. It's a cartel. It runs through a process, a system. So, Yeni Atigana Nigerians say, Atuforsin Jakwadems are fighting only Attorney General. You are getting everything wrong. It has been cooked. The same way J.A. Kufuor cooked a story, cooked up allegations against Tsikata using Justice Henrietta Aban. They are using the Chief Justice today and Justice Equia to make sure that NDC Atuforsin is jailed. Why is this case not on live TV? Is the anti-LGBTQ better than this case? We are chasing 2.3 million euros. Anti-LGBTQ, we are not chasing a dime. You want to tell me that case is more important than a highly profile, a high criminal case like this? No. The Chief Justice is being selective. Whatever is happening in that court, she supports it. A Chief Justice who wants the right thing to be done will insist that Yoni Kulendi is dismissed, will insist that the Attorney General's office is cleaned and that the Attorney General will take an oath to prove to Ghanaians that he's not a criminal. This is a Chief Justice who is seen on TV a week after the tape comes out that Attorney General is negotiating behind the scenes. The Chief Justice is standing outside praising the Attorney General. This is how dangerous our democracy is. Ghanaians, Mamika Bibinchiramu. Where we are at a crossroads. It is dangerous. You might not like me, I get it. Nana Dankwe Kufuor, the NPP, they have destroyed this nation. Now, mo mpenifu amohweme, mo ahemfo, mo mamefo, mo nkwara. Where we are, it is beyond politics. Yeah? You sometimes sit here and say things. And obviously, we cannot all vote for the NDC. And we cannot all belong to one political party. But the honest truth is, the little I've learned and what we have read a little bit and following Ghana politics, Nana Dankwe Kufuor and the NPP, this government, they are dangerous. You might be so angry right now with me. You might hate me because maybe I speak against some things in the system you believe I shouldn't. Maybe in your head, you might think I hate your tribe. But I swear to God, you have not seen a democracy go down the drain before. You have not seen the greed of men destroy men before. All these things happening, it is building up. Today, you cannot tell me one institution in Ghana that you can trust. You watching me, you cannot point to one institution that you can trust. And you know, the air yaw the mechanism. You cannot point to one person in Ghana who today we can say we can rely on. Say ende when you see Ghana, there's nobody. Asofo ahemfo impenifu ani adwene se omodwene Ghana ho, irrespective of who is leading this country, they will be honest. They have not, all of them, majority have become political dogs. Sebio. Where we are as a nation, it is up to us, the young ones, to save this nation. We don't have anywhere else to go. The decision we will take on the 7th of December will determine who you are on this planet. The decision we will take as a nation on the 7th of December, and in a bit decided about school now, it will decide. Sa ejumana awoye your life as a Ghanaian, that decision I will be taking on the 7th of December. It will decide the rest of your life. Few countries any opportunity to get to this point. Few countries. And let me tell you, those who are more spiritually inclined. But one thing I know, Nyankopon, he's there for everyone. The people who have been murdered in their respective countries are in Tokwasi, they love God the same way you also love God. Nyame do omo the same way nyame do. And I can tell you for a fact, because of political decisions, greed, corruption, there were people there who were more spiritually inclined and honest Christians and Muslims than you. Their prayer were more stronger and powerful than you. But because of the decision by a politician, because of the greed by a politician, the good and the bad died. In fact, the good, majority of them died. And I'm saying the good, I'm talking about young men and women, children, women, mothers. Majority of them died. Let me tell you, all these things you are talking about, the reason why when you come to the United States of America and other developed countries, they are always aggressive on their courts, on their judges, on their judiciary, is because the politician is dangerous. The politician can change. The politician is like a chameleon. The politician does not care. A few politicians are reasonable. So the moment we allow the unreasonable ones, we release or we unleash them, that unreasonable politician is not going to destroy only himself or herself. The mistakes of that politician would destroy all of us. That is what you people don't know, majority of you. That is what you people don't know. In 1980, 81, 82, 83, when Ghanaians were moving to Nigeria from 79, we didn't know who belonged to which party and what party. When there was starvation and Ghanaians were trooping into Nigeria, people's political parties were not questioned. Nigerians saw Ghanaians as Omogana. They saw Ghana for say Ghana for. They did not even care whether Oya Awuneni, Oya Kroboni, Oya Santini, Oya Kouni. They saw Ghanaians. If we don't take care, it will happen to us. So much study BBA. We have been a very lucky country. Now, ultimately, lucky forever. You cannot be lucky forever. At a point, your luck will run out. It is what you do that will make your luck run out. Also, Obi Bobo, now o defending 90 minutes. Or to be defending 45 minutes first half. Every defensive tackle, clean, no penalties. Header, corner. So the next 45 minutes, is the pressure that will come. And then the be forced to be a mistake. Defensive error. You find a technical mistake. And no, and the end of the luck. But how long can you hold on when the attack, the corruption, the greed, the deliberate suppression of the law, how some people are maiming some people, when pain is in the heart of people, when democracy is twisted, when people are being oppressed on their own land, how do you stop such attacks? At a point, you will not be lucky. We have been lucky to this point. Because you end up Nyankopon chen ekurobia was asase. So I'm telling you, Nyankopon do yen chen obia. We have just been lucky, the favor. From where I sit and the things I know, and how diabolic these people in power are. Young Ghanaians who am in mobile. When I see young people come on my TV or my show, Kevin Jimmy, I feel bad for them. I feel bad because it hurts me that they don't know. And what you don't know, you don't know. Adia wunim no wunim. And that is what will kill you. Our judiciary is tainted. Let me tell you for a fact, the Tsikata story is not different from the Atuforsen story. We are Ghanaian now. Prepare your mind that this government, this judge, she is ready to jail Atuforsen. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is insisting that is done now. The NDC, Ghanaians, you cannot think this is not going to happen. It is. They have tested the system and they've realized you guys are weak. You guys are scared of everything. You guys are not men and women enough to defend your rights. They have touched on every part of this country. They have been able to touch every single part to see how sensitive it is. 2020, they killed 8 people. Nobody spoke. They went to the Volta region. They took about 20 people. They jailed them. They said they wanted to commit a crime, overthrow a government. They came to Ayawaso West Wagon. Brian Champon sat on TV to say, we will kill and we will kill more. A commission was set up. Akufo-Addo threw it away. Soldiers entered parliament to intimidate parliamentarians. I swear to God, they have touched every part. They know you people have nothing in your mouth. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is more confident now to do more damage than before. In 2016 to 2020, he wasn't sure. They used the 2016 to 2020 to weigh you people. And now they are convinced. That is why when you ask them, how are you going to win the elections? They don't have a message, but they keep telling you, we have a plan. And that plan is through suppression. When they kill you people, you don't talk. When they strike you people, you don't talk. And it has given them a lot of confidence to do more. Election day, network will drop. People will be shot. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and the EC and the court are ready. They don't care. I feel pity for the old people. Make us say, "Omu nyina da, emi ya o papa bi eni efra, o maami bi ontumi nkomrika. Unu aba bi awo foforo. Unu bi ebubu ani, obi anas na bia na adwum kan kakra, ye na to dem, obi dayare sabia. Etija. Etija ohun. All right. It's exactly 7:48. Mr. P, we will do that later. I don't want to mix it with this. After this short break, I'll pick phone calls.
We've always sung the first stanza of our national anthem, which asks for God's blessing on our homeland, Ghana. And it enjoins us to resist oppressors' rule. Many have not taken the time to observe the second stanza of our national anthem, and the lyrics bear reflection. It says, "Hail to thy name, O Ghana. To thee we make our solemn vow, steadfast to build together a nation strong in unity. With our gifts of mind and strength of arm, whether night or day, in mist or storm, in every need, whatever the call may be, to serve thee, Ghana, now and forevermore." This stanza calls for a nation strong in unity and enjoins us with our gift of mind and strength of arm to serve our motherland, Ghana, now and forevermore.
Sama paya tabu makana Zuwaya mbala jimelana Mala mbala jimelana Haruna Idrisu Mansa Mansa Nagum Mansa Irwa Damadu Damia Zunga Parga Duama Pana Parga Duama Pana Parga Duama Pana Chanye Sachi Karmal Mamachi Gana na chimba na pasara ta pabukura na chimbukura bila kumda yelim lankani kom kutoda wisha kutoda samia malwolo amakana na mayemna na gomlanti bichalla tomi kalawri nyanga mana kutoda zan kutoda yelon kutoda kom tatai samia malwolo jo mama to makana no to fatibai kom kutoda mana kutoda yelon kutoda jo makana to makana
You are still live on Loud Silence TV. My name is Kevin Akobedu Taylor. Before I may be a phone line, so remember, this is what J.A. Kufuor said, and we cannot forget or say, the youth are kingmakers and must participate in election 2024. Osemo embabununo, mona muyihine, mona musihine. 2024, maamfa mo hwan sha banimu a, Nana do Dankwa Kufuor do ne aban NPP aban. Ye oye na omusua no omobetwa so J.A. Kufuor ka jero se mumbebunu no mo na musi hene mo na mutu hene 2024 manfa mo ho anjim anto aba ansakra aban enyi ni papa mbedi muso a saa adwumadi a odi ya ode chachukoto mu a ofom court mra ede eyetumi ede ma no etietia nipa fa ahodie so na Ekufuor ede bi eye atofo se no Otise man jina empia bontene ambeto aba ambeto aban we ya de oyeye no Nana Dankwa Kufuor obeye 2 times 3 times 4 times obanyansafo ebuni be yenkara sem. I'll pick calls. Hello caller.
Hello.
Go ahead, Patrick Asamitio.
Yeah, Kevin, I want to do my panorama. Now, my person be a question. Be semi teeny and Patrick correct me. From last time, you know, who can say, if a judge, you say, tape na your boy, you know.
Yeah.
One say a guy needing. But see, I know, man, who say, Obi say, out of the messages na sending, you know, judge didn't answer two pay. Is that not enough for the judge to be called to the you know to the as a witness?
You are talking about the text messages now. Attorney General responded to no, and then I make one no.
Exactly.
Enough.
Yes, one thing voice now. Now he answered only 2 questions to the judge to the text message now. That's enough evidence, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, mama, why? What am I who too much Ghana?
May I say, I'm sure. All right, thank you very much. Hello, caller.
Hello, Kevin, good evening.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Actually, from TK, because I feel like I'm so good. In fact, another Mura Opa said, a judge for Omoni, and Tigana pa your future. Ghana pa your future pa said a judge for ye. I didn't a near the Fifi, I said, judge with me. Edi assembly na obia hu be yeda na nemu yese na ase hwechanti enti ochine bi abansesa na se di obia ebeye omudara because obi di bone a obi amfo se bone de obi ndi but nipa na di bone na se no cross wa di bone ne a eno kwa se ejeli no but ade amu ye wutimi se ade nipa na amu put no questions nya wa kan se ni nya ma judge wate wuntimi yi ano attorney general ti ho wontimi ka say oh attorney general the asimasi ken so na you hu ano so asmo kan no kore ana enye no kore ade na judge entimi ma order ma attorney general entimi ya no na say wo me no mu anya asem obi na maybe some asem what is asem bi da and in fact ya judge for the munhwe na man esaya ebe you know musumo man na say
that's it. Thank you very much. Hello caller.
Good
evening.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Kevin. Oh, I'm a guy. Can I speak guy, please?
Oh, you go.
Guy, I'm not trouble for you. So okay, Bibio. Kevin, me no na we arrange me. Hey, be push Kevin Taylor, to mo bolo we ka je shishije. NDC bi ame pa father for all ne canon engineer. Ka shishije, beni atampos ma rolling me de change their colors. E wonye ka maka twa. Na me wa me fuwa me mo ke ni biye. Ame ba sit up na ba na ke NDC bi ame hin chelan. Me ho pa ke ni fe no tu one. Ame han le fe phone because NDC bi no na 2 forces and ne. E sa ne pulu ko ba 2 forces. They are bent on doing what they did to Tsikata at 2 forces. She me I mean a criminal record na me commit crime. For this yakaba ni mokole wo abang me le Ghana bi work men e mahama ke NDC. O tu ni nu ba job mo no ha rewo ye ni fo wa wo fi water blochi e. Wopo ordinary people in my name we are pocket lawyers in our own right. Eja keke ote court je po ye sane no kwa di sane enwo. O ye right no kwa aka chake je because of feel like je sane papa. Hey ano e Ghana. What is going on? We can't even go. We can't go. We are scared.
Cha obenyaba. Oh, you are done. Hello caller. Hello. All right, let me pick this caller. Hello.
Hello.
Yes,
sir, Kevin. Good evening.
Good evening.
Abu secondary.
Go
Kevin.
Ahead, boss.
Yemi show. Hey, Kevin. Yemi show. But to tell say anepa ana china bo model repeat this program in my pa so body say no father. Okay, about 12 midnight.
Ochina 11 a.m. Ghana time to repeat.
Yeah, repeat. Yeah, so that people want to win your chance when to win be anepa or they can have a view on what is going on. Because in media Ghana media mainly media houses when you be no be could do alternative video Ghana why and I'm just praying to you, but I'm appealing to Ghanaians. I'm appealing to Ghana on the 7th December. The only thing we can do to survive this nation, to kick these criminals out of the seat, first house, coming. Until Biano the same, Ghana here, Wabuchi, but mother catch a wound your Ghana. 7th December, 1 to Abentia and Nado. No, one parliamentarian candidate here, like Kevin. May God bless you.
I'm sure also, but that's Mukun Fantini. Hello, caller. Hello. All right, this caller is not ready. Hello, caller.
Hello, Kevin.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
My name is Jonas. Watching, your work will never be in vain. Your sweat will never be in vain. You are not doing this for doing sake. You are not doing this for doing sake. You are a great guy for Ghana. You came at the right point to straighten things. I can feel in your spirit the way you are drawn. Listen, it will never be in vain. It will never be in vain. What you are doing will never be in vain. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Thank you once again.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Yes,
Echo.
sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Echo. In your how pa. 2020 Asamosi or Ghana. Ghana will have a population of about 30 million or 33 million. Hello?
Me too. Yeah, I'm going ahead.
Echo. Mahawa mo there. The Ghana population of about 33 million. Yet or me we could nimpa our tree. Nimpa son what nado FC 70. Yet a woman in pay base a sunny pay when determine yen future and when yanabrabo. I mean, a pass a judges na paying for a woman into the orchard was womb and see about some come on when you feel come on. My brother, yenya Supreme Court judges, yenya chief justices. Wabɛsi no kwanti asɛm yi ɔrekɔdo yi wɔbɛtum wɔde wɔn ano atom ma waka de ebe wɔma yɛmfa no kwan yɛ adwuma wɔ mani mu ɔnyɛ yi ma brada yɛyɛ dam a ɔnyɛ yi ana otie Ghana mbra yɛtɔ ɔmanyi ma nyimpa wɔakum nyimpa awɔtwe panyini biara nya ano nkasa aba nyimpa so ne pio we determine the whole population of about 33 million.
All right, that's it. Hello, caller. Hello.
Kevin Kobe Taylor.
Go ahead, boy.
Kevin Patona Rama one like I say. Kevin medawasini adumasuna adumapa oboma o my Ghana nyami shiraw. Kevin ende nukuraka asa ende nkontompo edi adie ende Sawushan sama Kevin udi betu dwaya na utumu se yakura na ye nimhwe no yetumu se nokura no ena da obai enkontompo ena edi ade Kevin se ya na maibi obi babunu sori ya otwa jatu no humu ema edi he bae se gofra dame o abusiafo na abusiafo ntunufo ofiriwanchi na wagu wanchiman anima ase enne gofera dami kontompo ne tro na wadimu na yahu ne kura panyini bia kana no atumo bia enkasa na oman na yetim no se wo panyini na hu ade na ehia na so nkasa na ojano etumu a masa obia mfirimu Nenya betumu ni ashi. Yetoma nkwasiafo wei ebu oman wei amandehwe be bia Ghana dina brewo enen tos mensa 20 cedi mako ye kan ba ko du 5 cedi BC Ghana mi ngubi kwa wabakota mu kura da
Rama 1 mame ma assignment mame ma assignment bi na ko mame Kobisa besimbo ochina Kobisa besimbo ochina beka kire me why
Mati Kevin me kwa Kobisa
me that say all right now Kobisa besimbo hello caller
hello
me pa chokasa hello yeah kasa mitio
hello this is Ibrahim reporter from Upper East
Ibrahim how are you reporter CNN
Fine, boss, our main problem how budget say we get a weak mind. No, it's true because when something happen like this, and then the youth we try to take some action. No, any big man will stand by you. Are you getting me, boss? That's our problem. No, any big man will stand by you. They will let you fall inside and finish. You now see that they are calling back. So if you even ask somebody to even back you, you do something. You see that person will say, hey, Maza, if something happen, they are pulling back, leaving you. That's a big man. That's the problem. If he's tracked now doing something, they all call back and leave you. Say that you are the one called. And there's not about that. That's why boss just said the NPP have our weakness. That's our problem, boss. Because we'll be facing that challenge in Upper East here. Once something happens yourself, and then you say we should do this, you say, oh, no, what you even do, and then he devolve about police interact, people will call back and leave you. So that's our problem, boss. Something will not happen, then you see some big man will just stand and defend you to the end. No. For that one, that's what boss just said. So the NPP are capitalized now for that our weakness.
Thank you, Ibrahim. Thank you.
So that's our problem. That's the problem we are facing.
Thank you, Ibrahim. That is our Upper West correspondent, Ibrahim. Hello, caller. Hello. All right. My for last caller. I'm in Pong. Obiabre. Okay. Ochina. 11 a.m. Ghana time. This show will play again on Loud Silence TV. Hello, caller.
Yeah, Kevin.
Yes, I can submit you.
Me wanyama miensa pa me pesa meka. One, yeah, as of for impending for no, no matter because
Oshe National Cathedral no crown of Mukusin, Tsikata National. Also for Baku claim to me in unity PA with a say, Tsikata National, and where he would any papa claim Busa. Then you say you will be for Ghana coalition. Bibia I say, Mino. Debian and Pinifon Mukum, million Pinifon Castle in the crown of the Omogen problem. As of perform Pinifon will say, Omonomi as of perform Pinifon. Being Kimin Kasa. Secondly, who is our court assembly? Judges no, Omonim judges are copem. Omonim is a woman retirement. Now, Oko retirement are. Sisia and Kama Beba. Indeed, the course no dear and course. Sadly, who said, Mama, it could be 8 years in Okoyanka. This is what we'll be going through. Yamia Casanasi Shadiano, baby, did last one. No be sees to Kronima and Uncle, and Yamian Casa, and I gana say, Yamino Dokana. It's in a Wama Gana, yes, she said, oh, they saw Omu Fisher, Omu Navy, Omo baby 8 years. Umundi 8 years. No, the last 4 years I can or the best is a corona my answer wako. Now the Omu ye Omu
thank you very much. So that's it for today. Mimpeke calls biabi. Oma mo friend na ochna. Thank you very much. It's been a wonderful 3 hours 55 minutes. 5 more minutes need 4 hours on this platform. Ochna is definitely going to be NDC 360. If it doesn't come on, you can still watch this show, the repeat tomorrow evening on Laos Alliance TV. Watch Nanopa 11 a.m. Ghana time. No, this show will play on Laos Alliance TV. Thank you very much, team. My producers are called the Ghost Team. They put all the production together. The videos, pictures, the fact we're pulling and all the pictures, every single thing was done by production team. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you very much for everything. I also appreciate you who took 4 hours of your time to be here with us. We are all messengers who are ready and willing to speak truth to power. My name, again, is Kevin Ekobedu Taylor. I'll be back to talk about Ghana very soon. Be good, cheers, and good night.
Take glory, Father. Take glory, Son. Take glory, Holy Ghost. Now and evermore. Take glory, Father. Take glory, Son. Hey, take glory, Holy Ghost. Now and evermore. Take glory, Father. Take glory, Son. Take glory, Holy Ghost. Now and evermore. In the morning, early in the morning, I will rise and praise the Lord. In the morning, early in the morning, I will rise and praise the Lord. In the morning, early in the morning, I will rise and praise the Lord. In the morning, Good morning, Jesus. Good morning, Lord. I know you come from heaven above. The Holy Spirit sit on the throne. Good morning, Jesus. Good morning, Lord. I know you come from heaven above. Holy Spirit sit on. Good morning, Jesus. Good morning, Lord. I know you come from heaven above. Hey, in our dear Lord's garden, planted near the